Episode 27. Here we go. We're live now, guys. Sorry about the little bit of delay there. We got caught up in some conversation amongst ourselves. Didn't realize what time it was. So we got a good show for you guys tonight. We got a lot of things to talk about. Big news. Some of us watched Iron Fist show. Some of us didn't. But whether you did or you didn't, it's definitely still a point of contention conversation. So we're going to mention that. We got something to talk about first, which after we catch up with each other. Is unfortunately not happy news, but we're going to do a little tribute for Bernie Wrightson. And then, of course, big news with Venom, not only with the comics, but with some movie news as well. We got a bunch of things to run through as well for other news as well. So a lot of things to talk about. You notice that it is Jose here with us. We're going to have Justin here shortly. He's having a little bit of weather concerns in his area, some thunder and lightning, so he's having some power issues. And if you read the title of the show, you saw Lords of the Long Box. He will be joining us. It'll be a little bit later. I believe he's stuck in that famous California traffic right now. So he's our guy. Glad to have him on the show when he gets here. We'll do his intro then. But first, let's go around and catch up and find out what you guys have been up to since last week. That's how we always start the show. A little bit of catch up and mustard. How about that? Let's start with Chris. How you been, man?
I've been good. Didn't really pick up too much from that last week. I just got a couple of books from my local shop. Actually, one that I'm excited to have back. In the rotation, which I haven't boarded it yet. But I Hate Fairyland is back, and this is the square variant. I got this because the cover. Okay. I really like the cover that's on there, so pretty cool. But hilarious series if you haven't been reading it. Really funny, so worth checking out.
Sweet.
Yep.
Wait for it. All right, let's kick it over to Edwin.
Not a lot. I was actually kind of late getting on the show because I just got my LCS. I helped him do the pull list on Tuesdays, and had to set those Venomized variants off to the side for myself so I could, pick them up tomorrow. So some of them actually look kind of cool, but we'll talk about that later. But, I haven't done a whole lot. I picked up a whole bunch of comic books. Don't know if I'll show any of those today, but other than that, I'm looking forward to the discussion. I want to see, obviously there's a lot on the table. I want to see what everybody has to say about this whole Iron Fist situation. So that's about it.
Yeah, there's definitely some opinions. It's a very polarizing show, to say the least. But yeah,
I see.
All right, thanks for being here with us. All right, Jose, I see you got a little bit of something next to you.
What's up, guys? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Give me that.
I got a little something here. I don't know. I thought it'd probably be appropriate for one of our topics tonight, but. If you guys can see right there, you guys know which book this is. And if you don't, it's Marvel Premiere 15, the first appearance of Iron Fist.
Great.
I did not pick up anything this week. I've been picking up a crap load of books, and I'll show them off in a few. The prior weeks, some big dollar books. So that's it for me. Welcome, everyone.
All right. Glad to have you and that book here. All right, so
it's the book.
Right, not both of these. I got it's gonna be a light week for me tomorrow. We're gonna get into that. I'm excited for a couple things, couple indie books. But this week I haven't really. I bought a couple things. That was it. A couple back issues. I'm gonna save that for my haul. I did want to mention this though. I don't remember if I showed it last week or not, but it's this is on the plastic. It's on the thing. So I got this done from a local artist named Greg Kirkpatrick.
Nice.
And this cost $20 for this whole thing. Wow. He was advertising a head sketch, right? And I didn't expect the whole thing, to be filled. So definitely went above and beyond. But the reason it caught my eye, and it was part of like a group thing that I did, was he had a family thing. It was a house fire or something like that. So he was trying to raise money, using his talent to raise money to, help out with the family and the repairs. And I was more than happy to, be part of that. So it was really cool. felt rewarding, obviously, to do that. So if you guys, ever find an opportunity, highly recommend it. But yeah, definitely outdid himself on this. So I'm going to send this off to CBCS, and I'm not going to get it graded. I'm just going to do an art slab for it. I just want to get it, I think it'll look nice in that. And then somebody gave me this, actually. I like these. I don't get too much of them, but it's a big old hardcover book.
Nice.
Right? Big coffee table book.
Beautiful.
This is Ron Goulart. You guys know who he is, right? You know that name?
I think so.
Yeah, he one of the things he did was you remember Tech War?
Yeah,
for, William Shatner.
William Shatner, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so William Shatner just basically did the outline for that. He didn't actually write the whole thing. Ron Goulart was the ghostwriter for it.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote that whole series. I think he wrote some. I think there was a show. He did some of the scripting for it too. Anyways, he's done a lot of huge amount of comic book related publishing stuff. So comic books and books, novels, all types of stuff. So pretty cool to have that. And it goes back. It says 50 years. This is published in 91 or 92. So like right at the start of like the whole 90s thing. So this book goes all the way back to like the late 30s and some of the stuff there. So it's pretty cool. I read a couple pages of it and happy to, crack it open and see what else it's got. But I like these types of like, big books related to comic books. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So that was cool.
Coffee table book.
Exactly. I got some of them for like, Batman and things like that. So they're cool to have and stack up. They look pretty cool there.
You know what's great? A great place to find those too is Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the time, man, you'll go in there and some of them, for whatever reason, don't move so hot, and they just put them right in the bargain section. So you can get those for sometimes as low as like $15, even $10. So definitely is a good place to look for those. Or even if you're gonna buy at full price, I mean they do have them there. And then if not, always check Amazon, stuff like that. But you can't go wrong with going to Barnes & Noble because there's always a sale there. So
Or half-price books.
A lot of different stuff.
Yeah. You know where else? Believe it or not, you're going to laugh at me when I say this, but Marshalls. They have a section with books, like coffee table books. And I've seen some really cool, it was like the art of The Force Awakens or something. Like this really like badass, huge coffee table book with all this amazing concept art in it and all the, the process through the movie and stuff. It was really cool. They had another one that was like all the Star Wars posters from the late 70s all the way up, like all the different ones, like, a whole section on just Princess Leia and stuff. And it was like a $15 book too, this whole, big old premium size thing. It was cool. Anyways,
I would have never thought of Marshalls.
Unlikely source, yeah. Yeah. Okay, just in time for Mr. Justin. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Good. How's it going, everybody? Good. Glad to be here with got some serious storms going on. So if I fall away, it's I guess Thor or Storm.
I got dibs on your collection.
Do what?
I got dibs on your collection.
No.
The Thors.
Yeah.
They're all secure.
Dry.
They're all secure. But yeah. Glad I could make it. I see the chat's already going, so that's really cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome.
Oh wait. I gotta do this. All right, full panel, guys. And let's give a little bit of, not a little bit, but some shout outs to the chat folks as well. Blackpole's here. What's up, man? Glad to have you. Comically Flawed. Happy you're here again with us. Always great comments from you. Looking forward to see what you got for us tonight. And Jackio as well. Worst thought. He was looking at my, with my name on the front, and he said that's the worst autograph ever on there. He's always really good with the comments too. So happy to have you here too, man. And I think I saw somebody else. Comics and stuff is in the chat as well. Glad to have you here and on the panel. And then we have Backwoods, White Mountain Comics is out here as well with us. So glad to have everybody here. And if you guys, Mark with the Mouth, see you up there as well. If you guys got anything for us, feel free to write it in there. Any questions, comments, or contributions to whatever we're talking about. I'll be more than happy to read those off. So that is it for now for those. We'll come back to it in a little bit. Oh, nope, I lied. Uncanny 666. What's up? Glad to have you here. I don't think I've seen your name before, so somebody new for us. Glad to have you with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have remembered that name.
Yeah, right. All right, so I'm going to go through a couple, sort of news pieces first, just sort of briefly, because our big focus tonight is going to be Iron Fist. Like, it doesn't matter if you've seen it or not. I'm sure you have an opinion on it already. And,
Wait.
of course, the Venom stuff.
Who else watched it?
I've seen the whole thing.
I've watched episode 1.
All right.
I watched 1 through 5.
Yeah.
I'm watching his first appearance right now.
Oh man. Oh man.
First appearance.
Look at the man rubbing it in. Somebody cut that line.
Yeah, no, I've seen the whole thing.
Okay, so have I.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think we're gonna do spoiler free though. Okay.
Yeah,
Just because it's pretty new, right? I don't think anybody or as many people have dedicated enough time.
4 days old, basically.
Yeah.
You saying I don't have a life? Is that what you're saying?
No, I've seen the whole thing too. So what
Yeah.
am I saying about myself?
If my weekend wasn't busy, I would have seen the whole thing. But Saturday and Sunday were busy for me, so didn't have a chance. I wish I did. Honestly, I am envious that you guys have already gotten to the end of it.
Yeah. I feel.
So this is gonna be
your pipe
spoiler
and
free.
smoke it.
Huh? It's gonna be spoiler free, but we're gonna state our opinions. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
We'll make
And
it
then when TiVo gets here, he'll have some opinions to share too. So,
Gotcha.
all right. So first thing, big news, not good news. Just a couple days ago, it was on the 18th that we lost Bernie Wrightson,
Yeah.
very iconic, legendary artist. He was 68 when he passed, right? He was born in 1948. You guys would know him from like Frankenstein, House of Mystery, Swamp Thing. I think he worked on House of Secrets also.
Yep.
Over decades, right? He's done so much stuff with like name a publisher, and I bet he's worked for them too. Just super talented guy. You know, a lot of people. I bet if you went and looked in your collection, you have something from this guy, right? I think everybody does. It was just really sad, and we kind of knew, like, you know, he's been sick for a while. He was, you know, canceling conventions. Like they had news from the family that he was like in bed for a while, and for a while, even though he was in the hospital, he was still somehow signing stuff, right? That's a testament to like how dedicated he is to his fans. So really sad to hear that news. Another legend gone. And what do you guys have to say about Mr. Wrightson?
Him and Chuck Berry.
Yeah. Very too. Yep.
Right in the same weekend.
Yeah. You know, the thing, you go back and you look at his art, and it's just, I mean, like so many people highlight the fact that, you know, he was, you know, master of horror, you know, all this stuff, you know, just really, but it's just like, you know, if you go back and look at his stuff, I mean, really, like, if he was so talented that he literally could have done, you know, like that really fine art type style, you know, and made, you know, tons of money being, you know, an actual conventional artist, you know, and you know, he just took that really just like fine art style and applied it to, you know, horror comics and you know, just comics in general. Like he really had some, you know, beautiful art for some really kind of creepy looking creatures, but man, I mean, he made them stand out. He really did have an awesome style. So he's one of the people that, yeah, you know, you definitely got to take your hat off and be like, you know what?
Oh yeah.
We definitely lost a legend, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's people that can duplicate and try to copy, but I mean, it's just like, it's not going to be as special. Like you knew when you looked at his stuff that it was something special. It was something that was wild. Like it would definitely, you know, catch your eye and really glue you into that story. Even some of the covers he did were just like, oh my God, I had to open this book. What's inside here?
Yeah, it's true. The level of detail out there, and even Jack Yo says it was impeccable, like incredibly detailed, and just, you know, just so much put into each piece that he did.
Can I show one of his famous Frankenstein shots?
Yeah, go right ahead. Share what you want.
Go ahead. Just keep on talking. I'll show it.
All right, I was gonna say he did a really cool a book, the interior and the cover for was Marvel graphic novel of Spider-Man, actually. So he did a story, some work of Spider-Man. So like you're saying, like, you know, he did a lot of, you know, with the horror and the monsters and the macabre, but he also did Spider-Man. So, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely stuff that, you know, you saw his work and you knew it was him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it as a big loss just because there's so many of us that didn't get to meet him and thank him for his work. So
Exactly.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Can the viewers see it? This is from his Frankenstein book. We see
We see
me.
us.
we see us. Yeah, we see you're basically broadcasting the show back at everybody.
All right.
Exile Inception right now.
Right. Okay.
There we go.
Are we on Inception?
Yeah.
All right. So what can you guys see? What are you guys seeing right now?
So it looks like a person in a, I guess, makeshift dungeon, sort of, kind of covering up.
Yeah, they got their elbows on their knees and their head in the crook of their arms.
There you
Like
go.
they're cowering in the corner.
So I guess now you guys will be able to see this, I guess. But if you can't, this is Mark Ratz. You guys familiar with Mark Ratz? He's another great illustrator. He does Indiana Jones posters and all that stuff. But this is one of from Bernie Wrightson's. Well, I always get his last name wrong. Bernie Wrightson, his Frankenstein book, which he took 7 years to get together, the artwork and everything.
Yeah.
Took him 7.5 years. But I mean, the guy is great, and obviously, you guys know Swamp Thing. He created it. But this is Mark Ratz. But I don't want to go off on a tangent. He's a great. He did this poster, Return of the Jedi poster. Anyway, let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely believe that it took him 7 years to compile all that stuff. I mean, if you're trying to go from, if it's the best of the best, or if it's just, you got to figure how much stuff that he had that he drew that didn't actually make it into a book, that he's just like, what, I felt like drawing a monster. I felt like just sketching out something, That's why, some of those hardcovers are really just cool books to have, because, you get to see sometimes a side of the artist that you don't normally see, where it's just like, instead of drawing superheroes, maybe they just sketch people. And it's just like, this is just, some guy at the supermarket. This is this over here. You know what? I was feeling in a creative mood today, so I created a creature just for fun.
Yeah. He was one of his early inspirations was Frank Frazetta. I'm sure you guys know who that is, right? And you can definitely see some of that inspiration in his pieces.
Another master, another, highly detailed just guy that, you look at his stuff now and it's just like, it's almost like to the point where, some people, I guess if you're striving to meet a goal, I think some people try their best, maybe even get into the industry. And, if he's one of their, influences, you may just have to give up and be like, dude, I can never duplicate that. As hard as I try, I just can't do it. Frazetta was definitely ahead of the game. And honestly, I think, had he been around now, with the variants and stuff like that, he would, he did well for himself, but he would do even better. It's just like, could you imagine a Frazetta variant? That actually would probably put J. Scott out of business, because just like, I don't care about this J. Scott. I got a Frazetta variant. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
Talking about Frazetta, I was actually private messaging Tom Greinberg. He's another illustrator. He's actually teaming up. He's done team ups with Frazetta before, but he and Frazetta actually met this past weekend, and they're working on a new project. So
nice.
That's gonna be pretty cool. Actually, you know what? While you guys are talking, I'm gonna share my screen again, show some of Tom's work.
Yeah, do it. So with Bernie, sometimes you see Berni and sometimes it's IE. There was a time when he changed it to Berni because there was an Olympic diver with the same name. So he didn't want his name to be confused with the Olympic diver. So he dropped the E for a while and then later just, said whatever and added it back. But yeah. So sometimes you'll see it without the E and sometimes, but same guy.
I was actually thinking about purchasing this one from Tom, the Barbarian. He's selling this print. Yeah, that's Tom right there. He's got like that. He does Tarzan as well now online, but he's got that epic heavy metal kind of feel like Frazetta, Anyways, I'm gonna stop sharing this.
There's some pretty rich colors in there.
Yeah. He that's some of his stuff there, but he's really good.
Reminds me of some of the old like Conan stuff.
Yeah, like that epic heavy metal Conan. He actually that's where I got familiar with him, was some of my Conan books.
Yeah.
Conan magazines, the black and white ones.
Yeah. All right. So that, guys, that is our tribute, and
Rest
Bernie
in
Wrightson. Exactly. Another great gone. So
Mhm.
sad to see that happen.
will be
Right. So the next thing we're going to talk about briefly here is the fact that Anthony Mackie, the Falcon, currently wants to be Blade. The Blade 4, they basically said Kevin Feige's like, nope, not going to happen. So it dropped out of the news, but it came back very recently in the past couple of days because Anthony Mackie said that. And I'll get you guys' opinion on that in a second, and you guys in the chat too. But Wesley Snipes was like, I'm not coming back for it unless I can get about $71 million for my role.
That's ridiculous.
If I can't get $71 million, fuck your movie.
That must be what he owes the IRS.
So
I heard today that they're just gonna bypass both of them and they're gonna go with Dave Chappelle.
There you go.
Hey, no, I remember you posting that, and what I'm thinking is that has to be for like a trilogy, because nobody gets 71 million for one movie.
That's crazy, right?
That's like the movie's budget right there.
Yeah. I'm sure he knows that would be a juggernaut, though, like based on the other comic book stuff the way it is now, right?
well, you gotta think it too. I mean, for Marvel, as far as starting off with good movie, I mean, Blade was what put them. I think was the one that put them on the map, where it's just like, comic book movies weren't just joke movies anymore.
Yeah.
It kind of washed the bad taste out of everyone's mouth with the was it the Joe Schumacher Batman and stuff.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And it was rated R.
Blade was the first Marvel movie, wasn't it?
Well, not the
That was
first
before
first.
X-Men. That was 90. That was 97, 98. That was a summer film.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But then you
I
had,
mean,
like,
what
the
other-
Punisher in the late 80s.
Damn,
Come
Edwin
on.
Punisher. Yeah.
Come on, the Punisher.
got that Jim.
The first one with Dolph Lundgren. It
Oh,
was like 90, 91.
Yeah, but I mean,
the Punisher.
I don't think.
Well, not first, but like the first trend, like the first of the trend, the comic book trend movie.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No, because remember when Blade hit, like all those like Interview with a Vampire and all that junk was coming out, so they were just like, oh, there's a vampire, but he's kind of a superhero guy. Yeah, let's just make that movie.
Great movie.
Half people going didn't know it was a comic book character. But we have our guest today. We got Lords of the Long Box here. Mr. Tim, how you doing, man? Welcome to the
What's
show.
up? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What's up, YouTubeites? And welcome to Conversation. I always wanted to say that. Jesse, you owe me $5 for that dope ass intro.
All right. All right, cool. I'm glad to have you here. I know you were having some trouble with traffic or something. I hope you didn't.
Oh, that's not trolling. That's just normal fucking Southern California traffic.
There you go. All right, cool. So we were talking about Bernie Wrightson first. We were just talking about Blade, and freaking Anthony Mackie wants to play Blade. I don't know if he wants to do Blade and Falcon at the same time,
You know what?
but
Dave
I
Chappelle.
think you could have 10 of those articles a day about some random actor who says, I want to be in a superhero movie. The chick that was in Empire just came out and said she wanted to be in a what's her name? What's her name?
Ashy something or other.
Yeah, she got kicked off like
Taraji?
after 2 seasons, whatever. And she said she wanted to be in a Marvel movie, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, you're too old to play Storm.
Yeah, what
you
would
know,
you
it's
play?
like
they know it's a cash cow. They know if they get in on it, they're locked in
Yeah.
for like a few movies. They're gonna make like
there's no way in hell Sam Mackey's going to play him. They're not going to use somebody who's already such a prominent character, right? I mean,
exactly.
they're not going to bring Wesley Snipes in. He's way too old.
Yeah, he
You know what I
wants too
mean?
much money.
They're going to wait for a while. I mean, how do you introduce vampires, right? You got to bring in the supernatural shit first, like Doctor Strange, slowly bring in vampires. And, I don't know how you would just all of a sudden explain it. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to Iron Fist later, but we still have to explain his glowing hand and dragons and all that other shit. So I don't,
But
maybe, I don't know, like an R-rated animated movie, right? I think
That would be
serves
good.
Blade best because he's kind of silly in live action. I mean, I like the first 2 Blade films. The third one with Deadpool was just awful.
Yeah,
You can blame David S. Goyer for that. I believe that was his monstrosity,
yeah, right.
right?
Yeah. So animated, rated R, Blade.
Yeah, like remember the Spawn HBO show?
Yeah.
dark,
Yeah,
like
that was
that,
great.
brooding,
Yeah.
like Blade. I mean, it's a vampire. Why not make it just go all? I mean, the one thing Marvel hasn't done yet is straight up horror, right? And they have a huge stable of characters to pull that off. You know, besides just the obvious, but Man Thing. I mean, Dracula. I mean, all these are probably licensed out to Universal now, but they have Morbius, the living vampire, and they have all these other characters. They could totally do a whole separate universe of just let's just do all the monsters, kind of like what DC already did with Justice League Dark.
Right.
Have Marvel do that with their stables. Morbius, like you said, Blade. Obviously, the two antagonists right there is Blade's going to be like, hey, you're a vampire, let me get at you, and then who knows, maybe a werewolf here or something there. But I just don't.
They're liable to bring him back fighting vampires and zombies now, because zombies is the shit now. I don't know. Or
Well, there is a whole Marvel universe of zombies that
Oh, yeah, totally.
They are doing a new
they're
title,
liable to-
Marvel or Avengers versus Zombies, that's coming up in the near future.
Really?
Yeah, so
the book, or is that a?
it's a book, a new title.
Yeah, I mean the actual the origins of the zombie universe actually tie to the Ultimate Universe directly with the Fantastic Four. If you remember, it was Ultimate Reed and 616 Reed, and then they opened up some portal. Next, fucking zombies come in, and the first few miniseries were really fun to read, right? Because the zombies would bite that superhero, and they would gain their fucking power. What are you gonna do against a superpowered fucking zombie? You ain't got no chance, right?
Right.
But what's curious to me is
That's
like,
a Robert Kirkman.
yeah, how did Luke Cage become a zombie if he has unbreakable skin?
Well, didn't they bite? Didn't they take down Silver Surfer first, and that pretty much like made them unstoppable?
Well, you think about it, you turn Hulk, and Hulk's gonna bite into anybody. He don't give a fuck. He's just gonna start eating everybody. I mean, but like the Ultimate Universe, the zombie universe, just they kept on, over and over, going to the well too many times, and then eventually those stories died too. I mean, I'm still pissed off that the Ultimate Universe is gone. I mean, that's pretty much the MCU is the Ultimates universe, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And then they just they just. But I've been reading what is that? The Ultimates Part 2.
Yep.
And if you look at it, Evil Reed, I don't know why he's got that big ass thing on his head, but
The Thinker.
Evil Reed, there's a scene where he's holding a little universe and he goes, look, the Ultimate Universe. So who knows? Bring it back.
How's that book? Is it any good?
Yeah, it's
Awesome. Ultimates is awesome. If you like
it's one of their best
cosmic
books.
level storytelling, I mean, fuck, you got eternity bound in chains, dude. That's badass to me.
That's like say what you want about Secret Wars too. One of the coolest titles in that was the Marvel Zombies book, right? They had the whole wall around the battle world or around a section of it, and that was like all these different versions of Marvel characters as zombies, just like waiting to burst through. It was cool to see that.
And the Thors with Frog Thor and all the
the Thor core, basically.
Ribbit Thor, whatever his name was, the froggy guy.
Okay, comically flawed. Adam had a really good comment though. If they're gonna bring Blade back with like as they're doing all that stuff now,
Freudian slip.
Why not?
They're gonna change the gender. They're gonna change his everything.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why not make it a girl? Like they were gonna do Blade's daughter at some point, and then they kind of backed off on that.
That's a good point. That they were gonna do that. I mean, because I think they want to. They like getting away from characters that used to belong to other properties. Like they don't want to associate Wesley Snipes with, because Marvel and Disney are like, no, we want to make this our own. Even though they were good films, we want to distance ourselves and we want to make our own thing. How it took them so long to do a Hulk because they're like, even if you like Ang Lee's Hulk, this is our take on the Hulk. And me personally, for the flaws that Ang Lee Hulk's had, I thought it was a good comic book movie, just simply because the way he framed the scenes, like little comic book panels, I thought that was dope. I mean, once he got absorbed, got a little crazy, then I think Ang Lee lost it a little there.
It was a long movie too.
Yeah, and the fucking dogs. What were those dogs again?
Yeah, those dogs are weird.
What were they, Gamma dogs or Hulk dogs or some shit? And just Nick Nolte was just creepy as fucking that dude. He was just
like,
weird.
I'm I'm your father's son, but I'm gonna kill you anyway.
Speaking of creepy as fuck, Shadow King, Legion. You guys watching Legion?
I'm trying to, man. That movie gives me flashbacks of bad acid trips from high school, man. It's fucking
from last week.
there's certain scenes that are really cool when there's action, but then they keep on, they go right and then they just take an immediate left turn and you're like, fuck, I'm back into this mind fuck. And it's just like, I mean, if at the end of the season, Professor X just pops up, then I guess it would all been like, okay, fine, we're cool. Right?
That would be cool. Yeah. Yeah. It gets really confusing, but then it seems to kind of like pull it all together and you have this aha moment at the end. Like, oh shit, that's what they were trying to do.
Well, but, it's from the guys with Fargo, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know how Fargo is kind of like out there and doing shit, but at first I was kind of annoyed with the dude. Annoyed like Danny Rand annoyed, like that kind of whining fucking schizophrenic annoyance that Danny Rand has. We'll talk about that later. But and then he grew on me, obviously, like he was schizophrenic or whatever. But besides Shadow Man, I don't know if there's any. I want to see more of the other mutants and them doing some cool shit, right? There's that black dude who can travel back into people's memories,
right?
And then did you remember at the end of episode 1 that one crazy dude that was just telekinetically blasting fools? Is he still showing up?
They're all there. They just kind of make brief cameos. They haven't really utilized the sort of ancillary characters as much as they could. They're really focusing on him and what's her name? The chick, his girlfriend.
Oh yeah. And thank God I don't need to see more Audrey Plaza and her big bug eyes. She freaks me out. I'm sorry. Is that her name, Audrey Plaza?
Yeah, yeah.
I just saw her in back-to-back movies. Oh, I saw that wedding movie with the two brothers, Zac Efron and the dude from Workaholics.
Oh,
yeah, she was in that.
We Need Wedding Dates or something like that.
Yeah. Actually, that movie's kind of funny. It's it's actually funny. It was on the Fire Stick, so you don't got to pay to see it. And then the other movie was Dirty Grandpa. She's in that too, and Zac Efron's in that too, and she plays the exact same character, which is like, oh, I'm the party chick who's nasty as fuck. And then it was just like, she's starting to get annoying, man.
Yeah, I knew her from comedy, which is what you're saying. So this is a pretty different role for her.
Shall we begin? But Fox is doing this stuff with the X-Men, which is so out there that they purposely make it vague. You don't know what year it is or what era, and there's certain things they say like, "Oh, CNN is here." Well, fuck, it's not the 70s or 60s then, right? Because they just said CNN. But then you don't really see like contemporary clothing, like the furniture looks off. The one car you do see all the time is that big sedan, and you really can't place that either. What year that car's in? I think they're purposely trying to fuck with this, so we can't place it in an X-Men timeline, which shouldn't be a problem either, because X-Men producers can't even place their own movies in timelines because they fucked it all up by doing Days of Future Past and all this other shit, right? But I'm telling you what, Legion isn't what doing it for me. It's the show they're developing that's really getting me excited. When I found out Thunderbird was going to be that, Polaris is going to be in that. I mean, those are like second, third tier X-Men characters that were always kind of cool back in like the Bronze Age. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that should be pretty cool. With the Shadow, what is his name? Shadow King. He's been around for a while too. I wouldn't call him he's probably a 7th or 8th tier character. But
who has X-Men 279? Is that his first appearance?
That's his origin, I think. Like he was big in you remember the Weir Island saga with Moira McTaggart, and he was like fucking with everybody's minds.
Yeah, the Shadow King. I remember him mostly from the cartoon. Like I was a little kid, and he was like, Shadow King messed up Storm's mind, and she was all freaked out. And I think he was basically the one that placed that the claustrophobia that she has in her head.
Yeah.
But I mean,
what did he look like in the cartoon? Was he wearing a suit, or was he a fat blob?
He was more of just like a big shadow. Pretty much. I mean, he was like kind of like the Cheshire Cat, or like you remember that movie Critters?
Mojo.
Like those type of things.
Critters.
The critters, that underground critters, or that's Tremors. Never mind.
The alien.
Those little furry bastards with the big teeth that used to just roll around the hills and like eat people up.
They were like a ball, right, with the mouth.
Yeah, it's a big fur ball.
Spiky.
That's pretty much what he looked like.
It made me think of Mojo, actually.
Oh my God, Mojo.
Nobody wants to hear about your Mojo.
Yeah. All right, so that's enough about that show. CBCS has upped their shipping rates.
That's no
right.
That's news to me. How much?
Yeah, I think I could pull up the breakdown of it if you want, but You know, the obvious thing would have been to give us an announcement about, you know, for the raw grade, what the true shipping is supposed to be for that, but we still haven't heard on that. I think for like a modern, you know, just regular shipping, UPS ground or whatever, it's $25 now, I think is what the price is. But have you guys been ordering from them at all, or like, I mean, have
Really,
you guys
it was like 20. Yeah, it was like 22. I always try to do a submission with like as many books as possible, because it hits a wall with like 48 bucks, 42 to 48, somewhere around there. It hits a wall, and then you can just submit however many you want, and then it doesn't go up. But that's news to me. I'm really surprised to hear that. I hope it's not true.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It is.
I got
It's
it
like,
here.
wow.
Shipping rates. All right.
I can see
So,
them.
what's
They have
that?
a new product. So I can see them going up because they have that, you know, the raw grading and all that. And they have a new product to put out there. Why not, you know?
Yeah.
Edwin, did you get your books back from the raw grading?
I never did the raw grading because Jesse was telling me that they were working on lowering the price for the raw grading, and so I was going to wait till they did that before I did a submission.
Did you guys?
I thought with this they would have given us that actual price, you know, with the same announcement. It would have made
Did
sense.
you guys see my boy SoCal Comics Connection? He's on YouTube. He posted it on the Comic Fanatics page. Actually, he got him back.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're ugly as fuck. Yeah. The label is the little sticker is in the lower right hand corner, which is a little odd to me. And it's just like a little thing, the grade, and it looks like something you would see at a show where some guy's booth is grading his own books and he puts a sticker on it.
And there's no notes that accompany that, right?
No, I meant and the price was like $10, and I was like, dude, $10 for a modern. What is it like with this discount? It's like what, $14 to $18 for a modern slab book for either CBCS or CGC if you get the dealer discount of 20%.
Yeah. I think it's 18 for us regular.
So why not just pay an extra $8 and get it like slabbed? I just the price point is really off to me. The only way for them to make money if they do it in bulk and they say fuck it, $3 a book. I meant no.
Yeah.
Well, how long is the turnaround time?
It's like the same, I think.
Because every person I know who's even thinking about using the service is like, hey, I want to get my entire run graded. And if the CBCS hears that, then they're like, well, fuck it. You know, we'll do bulk then. For 100 books, we'll charge you $250 a book, right? And then you would do that, right? I mean, because I think a lot of people are thinking it as a pre-screen. Like, oh, these came back 9.6, you know, let me go and grade it. And then CBCS is like, yes. Now you just pay for a raw grade and you're paying for a slab, sucker.
But at the same time, the bags are supposed to be sealed. So I think they were doing it as an incentive for sellers that they don't want to necessarily slab a book. But hey, here's some potential buyers. You know, here's some potential buyers. But it CBCS graded it at a 9.2 or whatever, and it's sealed. You know, and,
here's the
there's
thing,
pros and cons for everything.
When you get your first 9.8. You ain't gonna sell it. You're gonna send it back and get it slabbed. And what's really gonna piss people off is, let's say I go on eBay, some dude is selling me a CBCS raw 9.8, right? Sealed, perfect. I buy it from him, thinking, you know what? I'm gonna turn this around, send it to CBCS, and get it slabbed.
Right.
Well,
I think I know where
I don't know what the fuck he's been doing with the book for X amount of time. I don't know if he's sitting on it. I don't know if he's fucking bending it. I don't know if he's playing frisbee with it, because it's still sealed doesn't mean it can't get damaged. So I mean, that's the first time somebody sends in a 9.8 and it comes back a 9.4.
Right.
The forums are going to blow up. That's what's going to happen.
Yep. Or the first time 9.8, they send it in and it comes back with a purple label.
Oh, yeah, because they don't check restoration, right?
Exactly.
I think this whole seal thing is where you can't swap out the book. But you're right. I mean, it could technically get damaged. I mean, you could sit on it with your skinny or your fat butt, and it'll bend the spine. But I think the seal is so that the book cannot be swapped out with another book, or quote unquote.
Yeah, because it has that has those stickers that will basically show that it's been tampered with. But even still, I mean, just like what they said, you go ahead. Let's say you get a 9.8, you go and put it through, get it graded, and all of a sudden it comes back purple label. Like, how pissed would you be? You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause they don't check for restoration. They're just like, hey man, like this is a 9.8. You'd be like, shit, all right, let me do that. And all of a sudden you be like, what?
I'd be Marky CGC Rainbow Jizz pissed kind of video.
Another Mark.
Blowing up the whole
Saints
internet.
Don't get banned.
I'm gonna shout out Marky's pissed off band ass whatever I can, man.
I thought that was hilarious. Messed up, fucked up, but it was hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So shipping costs, FedEx Ground for one book with a value of $100 to $500 is $25.
Holy shit!
That's too much.
Wait,
That's too much.
This is for
That's
the
way too
raw.
much.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
one book, 50 to 75,000 value, which I'm sure we have a lot of those. $105.
Wow.
Well,
I'm not using it till I
you know
get it
what?
fixed.
When you got something that much, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Then
worth it.
That's nothing. It's like if you got to ask how much something costs, and you probably can't afford it, but if you got a big ass book like that, I would love to see what $105 worth of shipping gets you. Like, is it in like a fucking case or something? And
Well,
some
true.
dude drives up to your house in a limo, it says "Cipher this, sir," and pops it open like the case and profession or something. It's like,
Wallace's soul just.
So how much would they charge for something like this book right here? How much would they charge?
$7.
So you're looking at that's going to be in the 500 to 1,000 range. That's $27.
Nah, it's fine in double mylar. It's good next to Daddy. And like
Make your own sticker. Make your own raw grade sticker and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Right.
All
Is
right.
it your precious? Do you pet it?
Actually, the funny thing, Edwin and I were talking about that, how to do that. But create a whole new other grading company. Call it Halo.
Actually, funny thing is, real quick, because I was like, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I'm in the process of creating my own COA, just because there's no law, there's no really anything against it, and a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
But I advertise myself as a CBCS authorized witness, just because I'm gonna do it legit, and I'm not gonna screw anybody. So, but anyways, a lot of people are doing it, and so I figured why not. But as far as this whole raw grading thing, I'm just like, it's new. They're testing the waters. I see it. I still think that they need to tweak the whole shipping thing, and they will. They'll get it right. But I don't think this is something that a lot of people are going to look into be doing. So it's just a matter of time before they get it all worked out. But I don't know, man. The whole stickers and doing your own thing and all that stuff, a lot of people are doing that stuff. So we'll just see how it all works itself out.
If I do it, it's probably going to be on site at a con. That's it.
yeah, I think the price point is their problem. I think if they lower it, then they'll have a lot more people.
Exactly.
Because people want to do them in bulk. They want to do runs, like 50 books at a time. It's so $10 that's just too close to getting a slab book. I mean, it's. I'd be curious to see.
You're right, but the good thing about them, they're very receptive to what their clients have to say.
That's true.
So enough people,
They are.
They speak enough their mind in the forums. They'll change things up. I mean,
Yeah.
Steve Barack, he's good like that.
Speak your voice, people. Too much money for that. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Is and this is just gonna be quick because I really want to get into the Iron Fist stuff. But for the Matrix, they're talking about another movie, or not really a reboot, but it's gonna be allegedly a prequel.
So like we could get a movie, another trilogy of a previous Neo who failed.
Or maybe
Yeah.
Since all the previous ones failed, right?
pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird. Is it? So it must be taking place between, I guess, where the Animatrix left off, where you see the destruction of the human world, pretty much, and you get to see that first, one kind of fuck everything up, and then
like the whole this is the day that Skynet went live type of thing.
From what I understand, and I read this a while ago, is that when they made the Matrix, the first one, they had never planned on making a trilogy, but it got so popular. The studios told the Wachowski brother and sister now that, hey, make us some more.
Yeah.
And that's why if you saw part 2, holy fuck, I still can't figure out what the architect was saying. I understand there's something about this happened 7 times. It's been rebooted. Neo's a virus. And I was like, and he went up for like 10 minutes. And I was just like, fuck it. Give me Kung Fu action, man. This is not.
Well, and that's the thing is there was such a gap in time when they were done with the project and then they had to jump back in it. That's why the stories don't really connect. It wasn't written as a trilogy to begin with.
Yeah, but that architect speech literally almost put me to sleep. It was just, it was so just droning on. I'm like, you go from, him fighting all the Smiths in the schoolyard to the architect, and
this is what I had to do. I had to go in. As soon as I saw that movie, I went home and I had to Alta Vista what the fuck he was talking about, because this is old internet. There wasn't no Google yet. I don't even think there was Yahoo yet. I remember going onto like Alta Vista, one of the search engines, and I was like, what the fuck did he say? And I went to like this old ass forum, and people were like, this is what he said. This is what he said. And I was like, they tried to make it too mythological for its own good. You know what I mean? They tried to make it like a Star Wars mythos, and then it just drowned in its own, like, you know, by the time the third movie came around, nobody even really cared anymore. There was some cool robot action. I think you can safely say after that, the Wachowskis have been trying to chase the dragon, so to say. That first hit they got with The Matrix. Jupiter's Legacy was fucking awful, man, with the fucking weird Gambit in there with his weird makeup and shit.
He was a dog. He was a dog.
That's right. He was a dog. Yep. And then I forgot what their last movie was. It sucked bad too. And then they made that ninja movie. That was bad too. And I think they're still trying to chase that first hit that they got with The Matrix. And then, you know, after that, it was like, you know, when you saw, Wachowskis, you're like, yeah, but now you're like, no, big deal. So I can see them trying to go back to the well, trying to get their former, but I don't know. What would you do? They would probably do a prequel of when the humans still inhabited the Earth. And like, you know, somebody said when Skynet takes over, but it's almost like, wait a second. Just saw that. We know that story. It's called Terminator. Any other post-apocalyptic fucking movie, right? I mean,
I almost think they should just leave it alone. Like honestly, they should have just ended it off with, you know, Neo doing a speech on the phone, being like, "We know who you are. We're coming for you." This and that, and just leave it as it is. You know, like you said, like that movie was, I mean, as close to perfect for that story as you were gonna get. Anything else just really convolutes it and makes it tough to follow. So. You know, there's no point in doing a prequel, at least in my opinion, because like you say, we know where the story goes. They lose, and then we get the Matrix. So it's just like, you know, it's kind of a waste of money and time. I mean, just trying to, I guess, rehash old stuff, really.
And Jesse, I don't want to hijack the show, but this would be a perfect segue into showing that you can get a regular actor, teach him martial arts with the great choreography, and it turns out well. And you don't get Finn Jones trying to do wushu and Wing Chun. But remember, so Yuen Wu Ping was the guy who did the choreography of The Matrix. Classic Hong Kong movie guy. He did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all these flicks. And he taught fucking Keanu Reeves how to fight Kung Fu. And you believe that shit, right? Keanu Reeves wasn't half bad with doing it. Even Lawrence Fishburne was fighting a little Kung Fu. But they got one of the best Hong Kong martial arts choreographers of all time. He's worked with Jet Li, Donnie Yen, all these guys, and the Wachowskis are smart enough to say, "Hey, we want that guy for our Hollywood film." And now you got, and anytime you see Keanu Reeves doing action like in John Wick, you believe that shit because you know because I think a good actor is able to act both, you know, emotionally and physically, because acting is just mimicking, right? Martial arts, for the most part, if is mimicking, you need to mimic the moves. You know, karate, you have katas, and Kung Fu, you have forms, and it's just mimicking what somebody else is showing you. So I'm pretty sure Iron Fist can learn something from this.
What was the guy's name? Brett Chan? The stunt
Brett
coordinator?
Chan, he did. I've never seen Marco Polo. People have told me it's okay, but they're the stunt team that did the Marco Polo series.
Yeah, but a lot of it has to do with prep time. I mean, a lot of those movies, they give them like a year or two out, you know, to start their training and things like that, to get the stunt coordinations going.
Into the Badlands is a TV show, and look at that action.
Yeah, but it's cast with mostly martial artists.
Is that
only the main character, the redheaded chick? She has no martial arts background.
Right.
Nick Frost,
she didn't do a whole lot, though.
Yeah, but just the main guy, really, and then everything else. They put him through a boot camp every season. If you look at the footage for Into the Badlands, they have it. They showed the boot camp that they go through. And before we talk about Iron Fist, if you notice Colleen Wing, you know, the guy Brett Chan, he said Colleen Wing was great to work with. She came in and trained 6 hours a day, and that's why her fight scenes looked a bit more realistic, right? Better. I mean, and also I believe she was in some BBC show where she also learned martial arts for that show. So she has a little bit of background. Then when they said Finn Jones, he goes, well, you know, Finn Jones had a really hectic schedule. So, when he came, he worked hard. So that tells me that either A, didn't want to put into work, or due to scheduling, he just couldn't make it.
Listen to this. This is Finn Jones' own words. He says, well, here's the situation. Unfortunately, with the filming schedule, I wasn't given as much time as I would have liked to continue training. Shooting for 12 to 14 hours a day took its toll. He was learning the fight scenes just 15 minutes. He says, I was learning the fight scenes just 15 minutes before we shot them because that was the schedule. It was 2, 3 in the morning. And that usually the stunt department would come up to him at the last minute and say, hey, Finn, we got this huge 30-person fight, and you've got to learn it right now. So he was learning it on the spot in 15 to 20 minutes before shooting it. So that really shows.
So Colleen Wing did the same thing, and she pulled it off pretty much, right? I mean, she didn't look half that bad. Colleen Wing, I could believe that she was, trying to do what she was doing, but she put in the time. She put in 6 hours a day. So I understand there's a lot of these actors that, they go through transformations in their body when they're doing any type of movies, when they have to do something. So I don't know if he's just a soft sissy boy and he can't handle it, because I can't think of his Game of Thrones character. That's why I can't.
The roses something. Rose?
Yeah. So it's just like, look at, guys bulk up, guys, let's an actor unlike us who have 8-hour day jobs, forgive us if we don't get to go to the gym after our regular 8-hour jobs, but as an actor, going to the gym is kind of part of your job to prepare for a role, right? You got to put in time.
Well, not to go back to Blade too much, but that's one of the things I actually liked about Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes regularly, and you can see that in his films, man. I'm like, yeah, to me, it's like if you don't have Wesley Snipes, what's the point of having another Blade? Just like Bourne Identity, when they did that other guy, I forget his name.
They should get the guy who did Spawn.
Hawkeye.
That should have went straight to DVD. Yeah, Hawkeye. That should have went straight to DVD because you didn't have Matt Damon. I'm like, what was the point of
but
even
we got
announcing
Rachel
the film?
Weisz. Yeah, but we got Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, another one too is Black Diamond.
Yep.
In Spawn.
Michael J. White is a black belt in karate, and he studied martial arts all of his life, and he was doing Black Dynamite. Although it was a comedy, he was kicking mad ass, and I wouldn't mind seeing Michael J. White as Blade. That would be a good pick.
That, there's a lot of actors, like when you go through it, there's a lot of them that put in the time. Like, you mentioned Keanu Reeves. They showed him on the gun range for John Wick 2, and they're like just getting himself ready for the guns and stuff. I mean, he's honestly like if you watch him go to that range and stuff, like you could see him. I could see him going into a hostage situation, taking down 4 or 5 dudes before they even got a shot off. Like that's how crazy he is with that. And then,
in Netflix's defense, I mean, we're talking budget, a big difference in budgets from a movie to a TV series.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even still, though, it's just like when you look at it, you have the access and ability to get into that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I agree.
So it's just like I figure if you have people on set, on site, or just in general, I mean, you're a rich man. Like go out and hire somebody to teach you for 2-3 hours a day how to just make something look more believable. All right.
Well, how about
that'd be pretty cool.
How about this? Where do you guys rate the whole Netflix Marvel franchise? I'm gonna start off obviously with Daredevil.
Yeah.
Come to Jessica Jones. And to be honest, I think everybody expected more from Iron Fist. I don't have a problem with the show. I did expect more. So coming third would be Iron Fist, and then Luke Cage. That's me. Who's next?
I don't know. Luke Cage is at the bottom for me, but one of the issues I had with it was it didn't know with a lot of these characters, and even I mentioned it before with Kunlun, what it wanted to be. Like, were we supposed to like it or not? Like, it was really, or Joy Meacham. Like, one time she's a bitch, next time she's like this nice lady. Am I supposed to like her or hate her? Right? Is Kunlun like this magical, beautiful place, or is it like this like warrior training place that they kick your ass every day? So it was confusing itself, I thought.
I didn't like that they didn't show his damn costume in the whole 12, 13 episodes.
Yeah, we even got like Luke Cage for like a split second in his costume.
Yeah, with the tiara.
Well, I think one of the things you guys got to remember is that you're dealing with the properties that nobody else really wanted to touch. So I give a lot of credit to Netflix for doing what they're doing because I think Daredevil sat collecting dust for God knows how long before, Marvel finally got the rights back, and nobody was going to do anything with Luke Cage, and nobody was going to do anything with Punisher, and nobody was going to do anything with Iron Fist. So I mean, I think they're doing a pretty good job, and I don't think that we should complain too much because we all went through the 90s where nobody was doing anything with these people, and now all of a sudden somebody's wanting to do something with them, and you have to at least give Netflix a little bit of credit because I'm a little bit satisfied. But I only got 1 through 5.
Wait, let's take that sentence that you just said right there. I am a little bit satisfied.
Well, I said that because I haven't finished Iron Fist. I'm only 1 through 5 yet. I'm only
Here's my
episode 1
thing,
through 5.
First of all, it's 2017. It's not the 90s, and we should be putting our properties at a higher level than we used to. Fuck, we used to just have fucking Spawn and X-Men, but now we have evolved as comic book collectors. We have evolved as movie watchers. We should evolve as people who enjoy these properties onto television, right? It's not Smallville anymore. It's not all these shows anymore. No, if we reward mediocrity, guess what? You get DC. You get more mediocrity. Sorry, DC people, but it's true. If you don't hold it to a certain standard, people are gonna well, it was good for a comic book movie. No, it should just be a good movie or a good TV show. Period. So, Daredevil, excellent, right?
Oh,
Jessica Jones was it was totally different though. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. So, I mean, we're not discussing spoilers yet, are we? Jesse, it's your call.
No point.
Not today. We're gonna wait a little bit.
All right. So, the overall theme of Netflix Daredevil, the Netflix shows is they go out of their way to show that these heroes are flawed. They're all very flawed as people, as heroes trying to learn it, but it's to a point where it seemed like Netflix blew their budget on their past 3 shows because Iron Fist had a really cheap sheen about it. The campground, the certain group toward the end of the series looked like just some random buildings that could have been in the upstate New York. So I don't know. It didn't look like. I
kept looking for Avengers Tower in the background too.
Where
the fuck was that?
The lighting was off. It didn't seem like I thought for Luke Cage, whatever, good or bad, it had good ambiance. It had excellent music and it had good scenery. Like it was dark and it was gritty. Iron Fist just seemed too bright and at times too dark. And I'm sorry, man, when they went to China, that just looked like the other side of the Brooklyn Bridge to me, right? I mean, what the fuck was that? They showed this bridge and it was like a Chinese factory.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that, and for a group of ninjas, how come they didn't have any swords? That's like one of the ninjas' weapon is their katana, right? They didn't have any swords, but I mean, it's just like I am a big Iron Fist fan, and couldn't wait for this show. When Finn Jones was casted, I was very disappointed and a bit apprehensive because I wanted them to get somebody with a martial arts background, but they did pretty well with Daredevil, right? But the thing about Daredevil is he's kind of like a karate style where he just hits hard and breaks things, and whatever it takes. But Iron Fist is the soft style of Wing Chun, right? Where you have to move kind of poetically, right? Kind of like Jet Li and Tai Chi Master, or Jet Li and Once Upon a Time in China. He fights very gracefully, and the power doesn't come until he really emphasizes it. Like when Finn Jones throws a punch at somebody, I don't feel that there's any power behind it. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem, and here's what it seems to me like. He's literally counting in his head the steps he's doing for this choreography.
Well, I definitely agree with you there. As far as the fight scenes, they weren't Daredevil, and they weren't up to par. In my opinion, I agree.
They even had a hallway scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like something that's in every freaking Netflix movie, and even that was like okay, with the Hatchet Men, right?
Yeah,
and that was more than mediocre. That was this.
The first fight with the gods in the very first episode. So when he goes in, I'm Danny Rand, and security comes and takes him out, and he decides to fight with them. The first throw he does, literally, like you said, Tim, it looked like just like he was counting steps. He took him and he kind of like nudged him to the side, and then the next guy nudged you to the side, and then slap you. It was just like it was so slow. I was like, wow, this is okay.
It wasn't Punisher when he's walking through the prison and he's fighting.
No, but like what you said about Daredevil is right though. I mean, Daredevil's like if you're gonna look at the two, even in the comics, if you're gonna look at the two of them, Daredevil's more street brawler. You can see that, like, he's just to beat you down and neutralize you quick, whereas, like you say, Iron Fist is more or less, he's if he needs to use lethal force, he'll do it, but he just more graceful style, more elegance to what he's trying to do, and that didn't really come through from what I was looking at.
Where was his damn costume? It wasn't this. It was not this. I did not see the costume.
No, we
got a hint of it though.
I don't want to spoil it, but I think it's in there. I'm pretty sure it's in there.
At least the hat. That's his thing, the hat.
Talk about Orson Randall?
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Orson Randall.
So there's a little scene with a little bit of a flashback in it with some footage, and there's a cool.
I'll tell you, that was my favorite part of the entire
shit.
series. Because I was like, that's what fucking Iron Fist looks like.
Well, and that he looked like he was wearing like the half mask and stuff in that too.
Right.
So do you think they're gonna up the ante for Defenders and maybe be more strict on Finn to get where he needs to be as far as choreography and stuff like that, and maybe spend a little bit of a bigger
got to at least get him past the orange belt level on those nunchucks.
Finn Jones needs to just shut the fuck up outside of. Every interview he says he just sticks his foot in his mouth. He's a curly-haired fuck that just needs to shut up. I've been wanting to say that in public. Curly-haired fuck.
Trademark. You heard it here first.
So he just came out and said, "Oh, you're probably not going to see the costume for at least a couple of seasons."
He did say that. What a
couple seasons? We're not going to be around for season 3. Hopefully he meant like this season and the season of Defenders, and then hopefully we'll see it there. It's like they've already just wrapped up filming the Defenders. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't make a marked improvement in his his fight style, season 2 of Iron Fist will be. What I want to see in season 2 is just abandon New York City and let's do it all in Kunlun. Let's see the 7 cities of heaven. Let's see the tournament. Let's see Orson Randall. Let's see maybe some flashbacks to historical other Iron Fists. Let's see the rest of the immortal weapons. Let's see all that. Let's see the mystical shit. We don't need to see you in New York City in a boardroom in a sloppy ass tie and shirt and clothes and looking all home. It's like, what I liked about the first 3 or 4 episodes? He quoted a lot of mystical Buddha shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Because I think they could have totally played on that and been like, oh, he's the guy from a Buddhist monastery for the last 15 years. Here he is in New York City and how he deals with crazy people around him because he's got this Buddhist philosophy. And then that just all went to shit when he started going, Legion on us, going all crazy. And he's got to be one of the dumbest characters in the Marvel cinematic and TV universe, right? Play a drinking game. Every time he says, I don't know, take a shot. You'll be drunk all day long. He's so...
He believes anything any of these other characters will say,
He is gullible as fuck, and it's like, damn. Harold Beecham is like the almost over-the-top stereotypical villain, right? And he still fell for everything. And he kept on believing him. And I felt bad for him because he's got that quintessential superhero, has no parents, he's sad, blah, 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 and, and then, maybe he wants to be brothers and sisters with them. But then it's after a while, I was like, I don't understand what you did for 15 years in a monastery where they teach you how to meditate and all this stuff. And then all of that just went out the window as soon as, I don't understand.
But I think that's also the producers and the directors. And I think after Luke Cage, specifically Luke Cage and Iron Fist, if they don't make an improvement, they're not listening to the fan base, in my opinion.
Yeah, if they're smart. And training them won't cost that much, Find a sensei, find a, someone to sit with them for 6 months before the Defenders,
You can find any number of, people. If you're filming it in New York, there's plenty of dojos, there's plenty of studios.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Buy Bruce Leroy, man. I'm pretty sure he ain't doing nothing right now. Bruce Leroy.
Find Royce Gracie and have him train.
Did you guys see the news that they said the guy they almost chose to play him was the guy who did the Drunken Fist style in the Iron Fist series?
Oh yeah.
He was in the running for the role of Iron Fist. And he's actually got a martial arts background. And I was like, that would have been the perfect casting because you know what? It would have appeased everybody who says we want a white character. It would appease everybody who want an Asian character. Because guess what? He's half white and he's half Asian. Boom. It would have worked out perfect. You could say his dad was still white. That's why he's got the Rand name. His mom was Chinese. That's where he's got the Asian in him. But he grew up in New York City. So he's just got his American side. Then he goes to Kunlun and he learns all this stuff and he comes back. They could have done that perfectly. And it would have appeased everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody would have been pissed off because the people were saying, oh, get an Asian character. People said, oh, get a white character. Well, this guy's half white and he's half Asian. And he could do the drunken fist. I mean, that would have been the perfect solution. But they ended up not giving him the role and they made him the villain. Which I was actually kind of shocked that they did Drunken Fist. That was pretty cool, actually.
That was
that was pretty sweet. So in episode 10, where RZA directed it, they should have had Tim direct episode 10.
Actually, that's the best episode of the
No,
series.
That's what I've been saying. I was telling them before. That was the best episode.
That was probably one of the worst episodes for me. I didn't care too much for how. Maybe this is going back to the whole fighting scene because I expected so much when he was. I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want to spoil it for the viewers, but I expected so much from when he fought all those people. I expected so much, so that might be the reason why I didn't care for it too much.
And not trying to give away too much, but if you notice, every Netflix series, or actually pretty much every superhero movie, the character gets a chance to have his superhero moment. And I thought the Iron Fist one was just so fucking whack. It was like, what? That was it? Fuck you, you curly hair. Fuck, that was whack. As I was like, I was expecting this build up, and you know, we won't give it away, but the scene is everybody's already seen it because it's in the trailer. But you know, that one moment where you go, there he is. That's like when Daredevil, you finally see him in costume, or when he does his thing, or when Luke Cage finally busts through. I mean, it was in the series finale, and he does it, and it seemed like, man, underwhelming. Like almost like the special effects didn't quite match the visual effects, like the sound effects. It was just, I mean, it just seemed like it could have been much more epic, that scene, than they kind of made it. You know.
To add on to that, they could have done more scenes where he's actually utilizing the whole Iron Fist because I thought that was underplayed. That was they definitely needed to show more of the Iron Fist come out.
That was cool. Yeah, it was cool how you could see like his cardiovascular system in his hand. I thought that was a cool effect.
That was for masturbation. I mean, never mind.
Well, the thing is too, I'm curious because I mean, I know that they teased this. I don't know how, you know, I guess committed to it they are, but isn't like the Defenders and stuff supposed to be in Infinity War 2? Like they're saying that like they want to merge everything. You know, they abandoned that.
Separate. No.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie actually even came out today and said why it will never happen, which it kind of makes sense. Is, you know, even in the comics, you have your street level heroes, and then like, so Doctor Strange said it best, right? He goes, you call Avengers when you need to save the world. You call the Sorcerer Supreme when you need to save the universe. And the Defenders are like, hey, when you need to save the neighborhood, you call the Defenders. You know what I mean? It's like, that's like, you know, yeah. When you need to save Hell's Kitchen or Manhattan or fucking borough, you know, one of the boroughs, we just call on the Defenders because none of them can fly. They ain't gonna get there.
Well, that's what I understand. That villain in that series is going to be Mephisto. I'm like, how the fuck are they going to fight Mephisto? Jessica Jones might be strong, but she's not going to fight a demon. Same with Luke Cage. Same with Daredevil. Like, I mean, Mephisto would literally like steal their souls. That's why, like,
well, I don't think
they
go with the hand demon. If you like, remember, I'm thinking they're gonna pull from Shadowland when Daredevil took over had control of the hand and he ruled New York City. Was that Shadowland?
Shadowland,
yep. I think they're gonna do that kind of story because if you notice, all these stories they pull somewhere from some comic, just like Immortal Iron Fist for this one. I think they're gonna do Shadowland, and there was like some weird demon type head that's part of the Hand's mythos. And, you know, it was funny. Somebody sent me a message. He goes, hey, man, what comic should I get for Iron Fist first meeting the Hand? I say, you don't, man. Iron Fist ain't never fucked with the Hand. That's Daredevil's thing. Yeah. It's just, you know, they made it such like, I am the lifelong enemy of the Hand. It's like, no, not really, you know.
You know, but to add on to what you're saying, if anybody wants to get the first appearance of the Hand, what they need to do is get this book right here.
Oh.
I thought that was mine.
Well, Daredevil 174.
I'm pretty sure that's mine.
Random act of kindness.
Can I do it?
If you can get it at a 9.8 with Elodie Young and Charlie Cox's signature on there too, that's even a plus. First appearance of the Hand, Daredevil.
Elodie Young. Now that was a great casting. I gotta say that was perfect.
Did you guys see her referenced in Iron Fist?
I didn't. I haven't gotten that far.
There's Oh, sorry. No.
It's cool. Don't
Well,
worry about it.
it's very subliminal. Where Kubuko, he goes, "There's somebody that really, really wants to beat you," and I'm pretty sure they're referring to her while she's because now you see what happens to people when they get brought back to life too many times, and that's what's happened to Elektra at the end of season 2. So, she's definitely going to be on the evil side. But it was kind of. It's funny because this kind of also follows Iron Fist follows the Immortal Iron Fist living weapon, and it follows like the first story arc in Marvel Premiere, where in Marvel Premiere, Harold Meacham kills Danny's parents, and then Danny accidentally kills Harold Meacham, and then Joy Meacham seeks revenge on Danny Rand for doing that. So you can kind of see, well, whatever. I think that's what's leading into season 2. Is with all that. I mean, if we don't see another, Rand boardroom for 5 years, that would be like, 5 years too soon. I mean, really, we just need to stay out of the boardroom.
Too much corporate kung fu and
100%.
too many subplots.
I mean, I'm actually just getting into Iron Fist at this point. Like, I have a couple of the Marvel premieres and stuff like that, but I mean, through those, and I guess his first series, I mean, does he do much of anything in the boardroom whatsoever, or is he just out there, just whooping ass? Like,
he's whooping ass.
Yeah.
That's why I think Marvel Premiere 19 is really going to pick up the first Colleen Wing.
Yeah, that actually.
And just buy the entire run of Immortal Iron Fist while you can. It's only like what, 27 issues or 17, 27 issues. I bought them, and there's a lot of the Immortal Iron Fist 1 and 8 are the ones you should get because that's the first appearance of Orson Randall. And also, like, I think 8 is the first appearance of all the immortal weapons. And then, like, Marvel Premiere, like, 15 and then 16. Actually, Marvel people don't know, like, Davos is Steel Serpent, I think, is also first appearances in Marvel Premiere number 15.
19 has an ad for Hulk 181 in it. It's not
that's right, yeah.
I think 20, he fights Batroc. Is that right?
Batroc the Leaper?
Yeah. That's at issue 20. What number is that? Oh, I see. Okay.
Is it 21 or that's the first Misty Knight? I have that.
Actually, that's been retconned. When I had my Marvel Premiere run, I got pissed off when they retconned Misty Knight's first appearance back to Marvel Team Up number 1.
Oh, wow.
She appears as an unnamed character in Marvel Team Up number 1. Like, give me a fucking break.
That's like the Iron Man issue with Rhodey. Like, literally, like, it just says Rhodes on his jacket. You would never know that was supposed to be anybody big or even important.
Wait, so that's supposed to be Rhodey?
Yeah. It just says Rhodes on his jacket. He's like a limo driver. He's like, you ready to go, sir? He's like, yeah, Rhodey, let's go. That was it. That's his first appearance.
Just like
that's crazy.
The Apocalypse first appearance. Remember, it was in that. I have it over there somewhere. Remember, it's like a Marvel graphic novel, and it has like a King Tut character.
Oh yeah,
that's the retcon first appearance of Apocalypse. He appears in a fez on some panel and one of it, but
I made money off that book.
Yeah, I bought 2 of them, man.
He was making money with all his books.
Oh man,
shit, X Factor 6, I can't even fucking get rid of. Fucking giveaway now, shit.
That's because everybody got mad at that movie.
I'll take it.
Yep.
Those books dropped like a freaking rock. They were
That's because the way they treated Apocalypse, man. That's the one thing that I look at and it's just like I feel like they don't know how to handle the villains well still with Marvel. I think that for the most part they still kind of just they put them in, they kill them off, and then that's it. Like I hope they.
Well, Feige actually explained that. He said that he did that on purpose. And and they saying it's leading up to Thanos. I mean, that's the big bad baddie he wants everybody to focus on. And I've been speculating on this forever now that I think Thanos is going to bring back, if not all, some of the villains because they all didn't really die. Red Skull got sucked into the Cosmic Cube. Even Malekith got sucked into something. Even Ronan the Accuser got sucked into something. And if you hold the Infinity Gauntlet and you can bend reality, time, and space, and everything, you could bring everybody back because guess what? They're all probably stuck inside of his gauntlet. And then you have somebody who could fight all the Avengers and all the Guardians, right? Makes sense because they have all these people there.
There's an interesting theory floating around that the Red Skull, they definitely said he's still out there, but he's the one who evolved into Thanos.
No, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you guys see Iron Man 55 going down at all after the movies?
No,
Because he's too much of
It's
a
still
big
book.
mainstay Marvel villain in the comics. You know, I mean, his book was even hot. You know, before he was announced as a movie, it just went astronomically hot. It'll probably level out and lower a little bit, but it'll still be, you know, especially that double cover. Ooh, get
So
that
long as I can pick one up
Yeah.
one day, I'm happy. Just that's it. Like I'll save up for a long time and grab it, but like that's my goal is to get
But
it.
definitely get it after the movies, then, because it'll
yeah.
taper off.
Exactly.
I got one for you, Chris. I also got a Secret Wars 8.
All right. I suppose this is a good time to talk about Amazing Spider-Man number 300. Since we're talking
Yeah.
about books to get.
Oh yeah.
I
The
got that.
Venom movie announcement.
Yep.
Yeah. And who's ready to pay what $500 now for that shit raw? Because it's stupid.
Well, what 300 is 500 already?
No, I'm just saying event.
It's going up a little bit.
Suppose you get to that movie, a raw copy's gonna cost you $500. You
Nah,
watch it.
275 to 300.
I got a 9.4 signed by Todd McFarlane. It was
That's
weird because it was a slab 9.6, and I had an opportunity for a Todd McFarlane signing. He only does them once a year at his house in Arizona. So I was like, oh, man, I got this slab like 7 years ago. So I cracked it, and so it's like a mixed bag. It's a yellow label Todd McFarlane signature, but then it dropped to a 9.4. So it's almost like
That's
it's
messed
kind of a
up.
wash value. It doesn't,
That's
you
messed
know.
up.
Tim, I'm glad you brought that up because that's a question I've been wanting to ask. Now with this one that I have here, not the Daredevil 174, it's covered the cover, the interior pages, it's all Frank Miller. He even wrote it. So it's a 9.8. It's got a Lodi Young. It's got Charlie Cox. It's got Jim Shooter, and I want to get Frank Miller's signature on it as well. But I don't want to lose this 9.8. You know what I'm saying? So I was wondering because I know, I mean, what's his name? Mark Roman over there at CBCS. And I know they're gonna have a Frank Miller private signing. I was wondering, can I ship? I'm only asking. Just in case you guys know, can I send this to them as is 9.8? Have them facilitate Frank Miller's signature and still get the 9.8? Because I don't want to lose this 9.8.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
They won't
price
guarantee
is
it.
fine,
It's
eh?
gonna get regraded. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's gonna get regraded. So
I mean, you guys know I press books. I could press it a million hundred times, and it's still gonna get as good as gonna get. But
is that book that hard to find in a 9.8? The Devil One's
I saw someone selling it in an auction today for very cheap. But what makes this book, in my opinion, got a little more money to it. Obviously, if I could get Frank Miller's signature on it, but it's got Elektra's signature and Charlie Daredevil.
Better hurry, Frank Miller maybe on the bucket list pretty soon.
Hear what's going on with Stan Lee too.
Yeah, there's a few on that list right now. Unfortunately.
Fortunately,
I saw Len Wein at the last show at Long Beach Comic Expo, and he was in a wheelchair. He was not looking good. And then if you follow him on social media, he just had surgery for something. He didn't disclose what it was, but Len Wein is not looking good either. Len Wein.
really? Oh,
He was in a-
Him and Bernie Wrightson were pretty close.
Yeah,
but
I was at Rocket Comics booth, and like it was either CGC or CBCS booth was right next to us, and he was in a wheelchair doing his signings, and yeah, he didn't look too healthy.
Yeah.
these are all great.
I don't know. Like the last people I heard from about Frank Miller said that he looked healthy for him, which ain't saying much, but I mean, I guess when he came to Boston Comic-Con last year, they said he looked frail. Like, I mean, it was almost like people like, you need to pray for him. He's in trouble.
Well, I don't know how profound his quote unquote unhealthiness is, but I know alcohol might have a lot to do with it.
Is he alcoholic?
That's why he's still alive.
Yeah, well,
Alcohol's a blood thinner, man. Alcoholics rarely ever get heart attacks. They get liver failure.
If he quits
Well,
drinking, it's
they're so
over.
relaxed and just like,
I know someone who quote unquote drink with him at his quote unquote watering hole in New York, and this guy would be there from the morning to the nighttime, just calling them back. So
Wait, can we
Really?
coach you on that? Can we coach you on that? Because that's a lot of quote unquotes.
That's kind of what you have to do if you wear that kind of fedora all the time.
yeah.
Either that, I'd be solving crimes or some shit.
Well, I mean, most of the time it's a fedora and a scarf, so maybe he is like
He's hiding his frailty.
right.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious he's not
He's channeling the shadow.
Pretty much.
the shadow, the character.
Well, hold on, guys. Let's not gloss over this Venom thing. We went from Venom all the way to.
Hey, man.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, here's one of the things that they were talking about is a lot of people think it's going to be a rated R film because of the success of Deadpool and Wolverine. And then you're also getting talked about what's that movie, Life, that this is a prequel to Venom, which I don't think that it is.
The little organism in the movie is going to end up being the symbiote, which I really do, like. I feel like it's not. I really do feel like it's not, even though there's that little snippet from the Spider-Man trailer in there. But even still, I look at it where it's just like, the people, the producers and director of that movie are kind of giving it life on its own by saying that rumor life by being like, well, it could be like they're not saying no and they're not saying yes, and so people are just going off and like that's fucking Venom. I'm telling you, it's a symbiote right there. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just some fucking creature.
It's called stock footage for a trailer. That's
Exactly.
what it's called. Go into the studio and find some stock footage of people looking up in the air. And, you know what the funny thing is? Sony didn't come out and say it was like some film distributor that is the one that came out and said it. They like jumped the shark on Sony. Sony didn't even make the announcement, so there is literally nothing about this movie yet except for a release day. So I mean, we can spec all we want, but they laid the foundation. Kind of people know who Venom is and everything. I mean, I just hope Sony doesn't, do it on their own. They need to use the Marvel Universe as much as they can. They need to use Feige and the MCU as much as they can. And I think because from what I understand, Spider-Man Homecoming, it was like, hey, Sony, we're going to put up all the money. Here's the directors. And then you give us the ideas. And that's what Feige is doing. You see Iron Man in there.
There's no money changing hands there. They're both benefiting, but not from, making
It's
money.
a perfect situation. Marvel gets to, build up their characters and everything and use them every now and then. And Sony gets all the financial profits. Now, if Fox can, work out a deal for Fantastic Four, then it'd be a happy world. But, I think Fox is just hard-headed. So.
The good thing is that Life already has Deadpool in it, so.
Yeah, right.
No, that's fine.
Actually, people are saying that's a really good movie. They're saying it's a good sci-fi horror flick.
Great.
Early reviews on it. Because it seems just like Alien, right? I mean, I thought it was, when I saw the trailer, I go, oh, this is new Alien. I go, what the fuck is Life?
Yeah. It was funny, too, because, with that rumor going around, like, oh, like, it's a symbiote and this and that. I'm like, that's a hell of a star-studded lineup for some prequel story for, a Venom movie. Like, Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds. Like,
I would be disappointed if that's actually the prequel movie.
I mean,
it's kind of out there.
Because in that movie, they find whatever they find on Mars. So now you're going to tell me the symbiote was just on Mars instead of having its own planet, which is cooler.
Clintar is on Mars.
It is cooler, but then you can involve Secret Wars and all the, Marvel characters into something like that, which is why I actually like the idea of, was it Spider-Man the animated series where the alien symbiote came on a spaceship with J. Jonah Jameson's son or something like that. That I thought it would be a good beginning or origin story or whatever. But if anybody knows Venom, if anybody's read Venom Dark Origin, to me, if they were to go about this, that would be the best storyline because you get a depressed, suicidal Eddie Brock, and he comes across the Venom symbiote, and it's really dark, and his whole past and being shicey, him and his dad, and all this other stuff. And to me, that would, if you're going to do a standalone movie, that would be the best Venom standalone movie because you get Venom Origin, you get Eddie Brock, and there's very little Spider-Man in this, which to me would fit along with what's going on because if you start putting Spider-Man into all this, then you got to start paying, Sony or Marvel.
I think it's
Disney
going to be really hard for them to make this movie and not have Spider-Man be in it at some point. He's going to have to show up.
Well, like Suicide Squad, you could have him show up like how Batman showed up just a little bit, like Suicide Squad.
Let's not compare anything to Suicide Squad, okay? First of all, let's throw that shit to the side. And let's just say, if you're gonna have Venom, you gotta have Spider-Man just show up and be part of the story. Venom standalone movie is is going to fail. I'm sorry.
It's not going to sell.
Agreed.
And I think it's going to have an effect on Spider-Man Homecoming, too, because not everybody knows it's a standalone movie. People are going to be looking for a teaser, a trailer, not a trailer, but like some sort of connection to a Venom movie, and they're not going to get that, and they're going to be disappointed. So I think the timing of this announcement really wasn't smart. I think
It's
they
supposed to
should
come
have
after.
waited till after Spider-Man
No,
Homecoming.
I think Venom's supposed to
Big
come
announcement.
after because I read that the reason why Sony announced the Venom was because Aquaman got pushed back a date or two because he was supposed to come out during this time in October of 2018, and that's been pushed back. And so this slot was open, and so I guess Sony was fighting a little bit just to try to get the slot because it was available. So that's just what I read.
But that's the thing is that Sony didn't make the announcement. They had to play their hand because this fucking rogue goddamn distribution company just came out and said, "Hey, we're going to be doing a Venom movie." And so I think Sony, let's go back to, let's not bring in politics in it, but they got WikiLeaked up really hard. Remember when all the hacks happened? And that's kind of what led to Spider-Man going back to Marvel because they couldn't plug enough holes in the ship that was sinking. I mean, they were losing directors, actors. Remember all the emails going back and forth? They were talking shit about the people that were working under them.
Oh, yeah.
And now
this
this happens to it, so it can't look good on Sony. I mean, but I think now there's plenty of time to add an end credit scene to Spider-Man Homecoming if you want to throw in some kind of little Venom thing.
Even if it's just Eddie Brock, something like, oh, here's a new photographer, Eddie Brock. That's all you need. Something that, like, you don't necessarily have to have Venom specifically. Just you can just introduce Eddie Brock and that's it. And then people get their appetites wet. Okay, look, we got, something's coming with Eddie Brock. That's all we know.
Or Flash Thompson. Let's go with the new one.
Yeah,
Shit, Cletus Cassidy.
Either one would be good.
Cassidy.
That's too early.
Cletus Cassidy could be like a janitor at the Daily Bugle, just chilling.
Yeah, but you could do Agent Venom and then have him join the Avengers.
Yeah. He was Wes.
Oh, join the Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way you want to go with it.
Venom Space Knight?
No, not that one. That was junk. Just Agent Venom.
But if you think about it, let's speculate. If he's in a Guardians movie, it makes sense, right? The Guardians of the Galaxy travel the world. He goes to they go to Clintar. A symbiote attaches onto them. They bring him back to Earth, whatever, and that's because otherwise you have to tell the story again. Like when I saw that J. Jonah Jameson and the astronaut son, I was fully expecting his son to be the character from the comic books. What he's like some type of werewolf, right?
Man Wolf, I think, right?
Yeah, it's one of the characters. Like J. Jonah Jameson is an astronaut, and when he goes into space, he becomes some werewolf. And I was fully expecting that to happen, but then they went with the Topher Grace Venom. So
God, that was horrible.
So you who knows? Maybe Marvel would be like, look, we want to get the stench off of Topher Grace and want to go a different direction. If you see a Flash Thompson, perhaps in Spider-Man Homecoming, maybe you can go with the Flash Thompson version. And it may not have to be Agent Venom, but it can be, lughead, jock in high school, and then he gets attached, and then now he's Peter Parker's, nemesis because he has a history of Peter Parker already because they went to high school together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
makes sense. Because Marvel likes changing things up. Do you notice they always go with their newer heroes? I mean, most obvious is Ant-Man. They went with Scott Lang instead of Hank Pym.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably going to be some other things. Eventually, they're going to have to. For Nova, if they do it, you're going to get Sam Alexander. And my spec is I think Sylvester Stallone is Dick Ryder.
Yeah.
I think he is the older version of Richard Ryder, and he's going to somehow pass the mantle on to Sam Alexander.
And he'll have mentor or something. Yeah. Because with all those new characters, you have to have some type of mentor. Like even like how Hank Pym was for Scott Lang.
Yeah, they sort of pass the mantle on to the next character, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because we still don't know who Sylvester Stallone is playing in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. So, they said he's a pivotal character in the Marvel Universe, and then they hired Lex Luthor, too, I guess, who's going to be Smallville.
Lex Luger?
Yeah, the guy who played Lex Luthor.
What's his name?
Yeah.
So
this
this
finally said he plays a major Marvel character, is what they said. So it's going to be somebody that we know from the comics. So it's not just some random guy they just put in for the movie.
Who are they going to be? Stallone as Nova, though, I mean, after Dredd, Stallone does not need to wear a helmet ever again. So
Well, maybe this is his.
I am the law.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe this is his. Gunn is giving him a chance for redemption. I mean, if you look at James Gunn, a lot of his actors are like B-list actors that he kind of carried them along, given a chance to redeem themselves. And remember all the guys, because James Gunn did Tremors, right?
Yep.
So half the fucking cast of Tremors is in his movies, in Guardians 1 or 2. I mean, so like, what's his name? Who's playing? Fuck.
The
guy from Walking Dead. What's his name?
Oh,
You know what I'm
I know
talking
his
about.
character on Walking Dead, Merle.
Merle. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Yondu?
that's James Gunn's boy. He puts him in all of his movies, and he's put him in a major role in Guardians of Part 2. I mean, So I can see him totally seeing like Stallone and say, "Hey, man, we're gonna give you redemption for Judge Dredd. Put this fucking helmet on. Just say some cool shit. That's it." Like,
Hey,
I would be disappointed.
Michael Rooker. There we go.
Michael
not
Rooker.
not to sidetrack too much, but in Judge Dredd, the crazy dad that was all religious and the cannibal.
Yeah.
Did y'all know who he was? Who he is?
Yeah.
The dad on the farm for The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
Herschel, yeah.
Herschel, the guy that got his leg chopped off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then his head. And then his head.
And his head.
Poor guy.
But I would be disappointed if they put Stallone in there as Richard Rider, a character that's like you have so much history with, and if Stallone's him, you're only going to see him like in a movie, and then it'll be over.
That's why you should take him out of there and use him as Cable.
No, that's got to be Dolph Lundgren. What are you talking about?
Oh, no way.
Stallone as Cable would be terrible.
Yeah, he's way too short. Cable's got to be tall. Stallone's 5'2".
So have they even decided on something like who they're going to have?
They haven't told us if they have.
No. A lot of people were hoping it would be that dude from the bad guy from Avatar, because they said that he has the right look.
Stephen Lang.
Yeah. Oh, that wrestler, the dude.
Was he a bad guy?
Isn't that why the director got fired from Deadpool? It's because his choice for Cable, and Ryan Reynolds was like no.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that what it was? Interesting.
There's had a lot of differences on that one. I mean,
And we'll never know the real story.
Bastards.
I know. How dare they?
Let's talk about that. Who on Justin's T-shirt? What's that? Neil Adams, Batman, Superman. Justin.
I don't know. I got the Flash leg and a Green Lantern leg too.
It looks like it's got that Neil Adams look just on the face.
It probably is, just because it's classic DC.
Indeed, sir. Thank you for sharing that.
You can find this for $7 at your local big box store.
Sweet. And how many issues of 377 do you have now?
A few.
You're hoarding
He
it.
got a store box. He got a store box.
If I go to a con and there's some there, I buy them out.
Hey, if the price is right, why not? Angel B said, didn't they name the cop from Stranger Things as Cable?
Stranger.
yeah,
Have you heard that?
I didn't think that they named him as Cable. I heard that they were.
He's maybe on the short list.
He would be,
Oh, not
he's
him.
on the short list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash looked good. Somebody made up a thing of Kevin. You remember Kevin Nash, the wrestler?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cable. But I don't think the guy can move at all anymore. I think
No,
his
he
body's
can't.
torn down. Right?
He can't
No.
walk. Both his knees are shot, like to the point where he hobbles.
Yeah.
How's he going to carry a big ass gun?
Right? A gun bigger than him.
That's a
Rob
light
Liefeld
bulb.
gun. You got
That's
a Liefeld gun.
All those patches.
Body slide.
Pockets.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Keira Knightley CGI'd up looking like Cable? Did you see that picture? Was it from a while back?
I think I saw that a while back.
I guess
That'd be
she
weird,
didn't look bad as Cable.
I think a lot of us are doing is we're looking for somebody that's already got gray hair, and why don't you just find somebody that fits the physique of a Cable and just dye his hair gray?
Jay Leno, perfect.
I already have the gray hair.
Jay Leno?
Jay Leno been having gray hair since he was like 25 years old, man.
Jay Leno. Oh man.
Yeah, there's a few people on. Shit, what was the guy's name? Of course, now I'm trying to think of it. I can't think of the guy's name.
I know that people had kind of wanted to speculate about Joe Manganiello.
Oh, the stuff that he's saying now he's out as Deathstroke?
Yeah.
Y'all heard that? Okay, yeah.
Oh, that sense since they're redoing the script from scratch, man. They're breaking it down and doing it all over again, man. So
yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Well, DC's always in trouble though. Like that's the thing. DC really is a sinking ship when it comes to these live actions, and just
it's like they just don't have a clue what they're doing.
Well, yeah, and so many people have such high hopes. They're like, oh, like Wonder Woman looks good. I'm like, I don't think it does. Honestly, I think they're showing you the best shit in the trailer, and then you're gonna go to the movie, spend the money, and be fucking disappointed.
That's what DC tends to do: is put all the best scenes in the trailer, and then when you see the movie, it's completely different, and half those scenes aren't even in the freaking movie.
I don't even know Gal Gadot can act, man. I saw the last movie she was in, man. I was like, I don't know, man. It was just seemed off to me. And then the last trailer, what I noticed is they made all the Amazons have accents just like Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
You notice that? Like it was weird. It was like, whoa, they all of a sudden sound like her now, as opposed to her trying to sound, whatever accent an Amazonian is supposed to have. But I mean, she has this certain thing where she does the Zack Snyder superhero pose look, like that he perfected in Sucker Punch. And that's about the only thing he did, making girls look good in Sucker Punch. But she has that down where she does that superhero look. And remember Deadpool making fun of the superhero landing?
Yeah. Or BVS is All the Faults. That was a great scene with her fighting.
Yeah.
She has this like smirk on her face when she's fighting Doomsday. That was a cool scene.
Do the other Amazonians have armpit hair or not?
I mean, it does make sense if a bunch of broads are stuck on a fucking island in the middle of nowhere. What made them think to shave their pits?
Yeah, there's no Gillette around there.
But not for nothing. I think that's just blown out of proportion.
Yeah, that's just
who
people wanting to get upset over whatever. I don't even know if that's feminism or what it is. It's just.
But I love the fact that she ended up being bisexual. I love that.
Well, that only makes sense.
Yeah.
Island of Women. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Well, actually, it doesn't.
I would be a bisexual.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. So when they came out and they actually explained that in the books, I don't know. There was very little fanfare or anybody talking about that because everybody was just like, "Okay, that makes sense,"
It was Rucker who did that last, right? Everyone's like,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be what it is, man. I just look at it where, I know that a lot of people have high hopes for it. I know DC's banking on it because if that movie fails, how do you justify a Justice League movie then at that point? Just like
Aquaman, all that crap. I'm just giving up on comics. I'm gonna sell my collection. Anybody want to buy it?
Yeah, I'll buy every book for cover price.
Right here.
Yeah. It's like fucking crazy Jimmy's fucking used stereo city over here.
It's like whoever can drive to Jose first.
I'd probably get there first.
Oh, crap.
I'm tired of
only a couple hours from me.
I'm just keeping one book.
I may sell my complete Iron Fist run.
I'm keeping my Richie.
Curly-haired fuck.
Are you
You lose your faith already?
That's what you should do. Put it up on
done with
eBay.
the character?
Put it up on eBay. Call it the Curly Head Fuck Run, and see who.
Jesse and I were talking offline, and we're thinking like we should start pulling up like sales data on Iron Fist to see if it drops. Because and I told him, well, let's wait like a month. That's when we'll get better sales. But they always drop. How significantly it drops, will be.
Well,
exactly. It depends on the reception of the show, how much people liked it or want more of it, and it'd be interesting to see what that type of reception has on the value of the books. So
actually, as soon as tomorrow, Iron Fist 1 comes out tomorrow, so it'd be curious to see how sales handle for that book with its 27 variants or whatever.
What's the actor's name who played Iron Fist? I don't know his name.
Jones, that curly-haired fuck.
You should use Gage. The whole thing is you get some asshole who starts signing their freaking Marvel Premiere 15 with his signature on there. That'll kill it. That'll kill the book.
It's got like 4.5 stars on Netflix.
Wait a second. Why you knocking Finn Jones' signature on that book when you got a Lodi Young's signature on the other slab? You're trying to sell this, man.
Because Daredevil.
Yeah, because you're trying to sell that one.
Anything about Daredevil.
Hey, Finn Jones goes knock on your door right now. You grab that book and have him sign it.
Yeah, because there's plenty of Finn Jones fans that would eat that up, you know.
The only book I would want to get signed by movie stars is what people were doing with Star Wars 1. Because that book is, if you had Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford, when they were, last year, prior to all the stuff they were doing, even I saw it at Star Wars Celebration, and I was going to do it, but there's no CGC with us. I'm like, fuck. And then they were find out how much they were charging per signature. It would have been like $500-$600 for all 3 SIGs.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you at Star Wars Celebration, it was like a good 2-3 hour wait for each of them. I mean, it was crazy. But I've seen some slabs that are 9.6 and 9.8 that has like 7, 8 signatures. Like all those 3, they had Peter Mayhew. They even had the fucking C-3PO.
I mean, jokes aside, I wouldn't have Charlie Cox sign a freaking Daredevil 1 though. You know, there's a difference there.
I would have him sign like a book of the the current series, but not an original.
Well, the new comic that had came out with, he had the black costume on the cover. That's the
Charles Soule run.
Yeah,
that's the one I wanted for him to sign. But then I found this one. I was like, let's get this one.
Oh yeah.
It works for me, honestly.
Oh, go ahead.
I say, you know, I don't know that it's gonna drop significantly or do anything bad to the book, but if it makes Marvel Premiere 15 more affordable, I am all for it.
Exactly. It's not gonna go down. Come on, Marvel Premiere 15. It's like, I wouldn't say it's like an Iron Man 55, but it's one of those books that just gonna hold it.
Which is fine. Let it drop. Dude, you have no idea. I'm the biggest. I'm telling you right now. As much as I love Venom as a character and everything, and yeah, it'd be cool to see him on screen. With the new CGI techniques. I hope that movie fucking bombs because I want to eventually own a fucking Amazing Spider-Man 300. I am not paying $500 for that book.
Well, you never know. The movie could get canceled, never made.
You can buy
cancel once before.
Yep. Love that.
Mm.
And I'll even throw in $298, $299, and $301.
Tim, we were talking I think it was last week about signatures on the cover and having them, if there's too many, they could cover up the cover art, that type of thing. So what would be your limit on the books? And would you consider having them on the interior, like, the bottom of the first page versus the cover?
I actually had Stanley's signature on the inside page. I mean, I think, like, if the cover is iconic, you know what I mean? Very iconic, and you get signatures on it. It kind of, you don't want to. I mean, I hate to pull out an example of Stan Lee, but I mean, if you don't tell him where to sign, his hand will just sign where the fuck it is. I had to sign over somebody else's signature, and it was like the dude had one job to tell him to point here. So you have to painter's tape those pretty well. I would say for me, I wouldn't go more than 3 signatures, and I would strategically place them where they're not signing over a character, if possible. Small on the logo or anywhere there's a solid color. If it's solid black, have them sign it silver. If it's solid white, have them sign it black. I mean, there's some guys who will sign it like Chris Claremont. He won't sign anywhere but the logo. I mean, so that's it. But for the most part, I think most of them like to sign on the logo. I would stay away from covering any characters, and I think, like you said, people get carried away with that shit where it's like 7 signatures and you can't even see what the fuck is on the cover anymore. They just kind of get carried away. I mean, some of the new school guys are very neat. Like Todd McFarlane, I love his signature. It's so nice and neat. It's like a piece of art. Yeah, it's art. That's part of the book, right? Yeah.
We had John Tyler Christopher on the show a while back. He's the guy that does all the action figure covers.
Yeah.
And we were talking about his signature. And it's tiny. It's like this really tiny, like it's a little line almost. And he's very cognizant of not messing up the art. So what he'll do is just draw like up the leg, like the sign, like in tiny letters up the leg of his character.
Yeah, because I think the new school guys are collectors.
Harden's like that.
Like us. And if I could find it, I'll get it. My buddy Dustin Wynn, who does Descender, he signed a bunch of them for me. And his signature is like a D and a line. And he'll do it on the spine or on the very bottom. He'll stay away from like the center of the book, and he'll just do it like down the sides. And then you look at it, you're like, where's the signature? It looks like it's part of the art. And then he's also the new school guys that has his own set of pens, so he knows what color to sign in. Some of the old cats, they just have black, and that's it. You have to bring your own pen. You know, I suggest everybody who goes to a con, if you're gonna get signatures, bring your own pens. Bring it.
Yep.
3-4 different silver, gold, and black. And
That's why I like Neil Adams, because if you notice in this book here, Neil Adams always signs right here in the bottom, right here.
What is this, show and tell? You rubbing this crap in our face, man?
Yeah, blinded by the glare.
That's a good book to have.
A little book, you know, it's a 251 Batman.
Yeah.
But Neil Adams always signs in the same spot right there. It's cool.
Well, Mike Zeck is coming to Boston Comic Con, and I was gonna get Secret Wars #8 signed. I was gonna, you know, see like, you know, where would be a good spot, like, you know, if I could ask him to do it, you know, inside on the first, you know, like bottom page or something like that, or, you know, would that be an inside page signature that you want, or would you put it like, you know, like you said, in pretty much an open space? I mean, where a book like that, because I consider that to be an iconic cover.
If you get Mike Zeck, I think it's almost worth on that cover to have them do a remark.
Yeah.
Especially Mike Zeck does them a lot for that book, actually, and he'll do a little Spider-Man face on there, and those remarks are typically ups the value even more than just a regular signature. I mean, you don't want an author to draw anything on there, a writer, right? Fuck him, he doesn't know how to draw, or else he'd be an artist. So, like, but if you get an artist to sign something, you know, if I could have him do a little thing. Starlin does it sometimes. They'll do a little Thanos head or something like that, or, you know, just have him, because I've seen the most common thing on that book is people get triple signed, because a lot of them do the same shows together. So it's Zeck, Jim Shooter, and who's the other guy that's still around that was on that book? Because I remember the last time they were at San Francisco, and all three of them were there. So Beatty, right?
Yeah.
B80? Yeah. So you can get like all three of them. That's because a lot of times they do the same shows, and that's pretty common to get that book triple signed.
So let me show, since we're doing show and tell, let me show you what I got for $2 today. Check this out. Because we're talking about signatures and trying to figure out why I should get a signature. So I was thinking about like the bottom left right here.
Nice.
The bottom left, like Jim Lee's signature right here.
Which book is that? I can't see which book.
That's the 608.
Man, you better know what this is.
Yo, you know what? You know why I'm cracking up?
$2, man. $2.
Edward, you know why I'm cracking up? Because in the chat room, I said, yo, Edwin's got a bunch of shit. He said, yo. And literally, while he answered, he pulled out that shit. I was like, look at it.
Yeah, got this for $2 today.
Mother, good job, bro.
Good find. You guys seen the prices for the RRP variant for that book?
No.
Oh,
Yes, he's
look that up sometime. 608 RRP. That book is insanely expensive. There's only a few copies
what is I don't know what RRP means. What's that?
It was like they do like a retailer summit once a year, and kind of there are only a few copies of them. They give them out to like Mile High and like some of these big old comic book stores or their sellers, and to entice them to come, they give them these free books, and they say, hey, you can sell this for $5,000, $6,000, $1,000, whatever it is. So they come to the show, and that selling that book usually kind of pays for their trip. That was something that Chuck Rosansky wrote something about, which is pretty interesting. But one of the years, it was that year, they did a retailer book for 608, and I forget what it actually means, like what the actual acronym is, but any of those books, if you ever see it with RRP, definitely pick it up. I'm Googling it real quick. I'm trying to be
I'll definitely look it up and check it out. That's not like the Spawn 1 black and white variant or something like that, is it?
RRP. What does it mean? Doesn't say. Anyways, no, that's not it.
I got to bounce, man. I just had my light just pop on me. That scared the fuck out of me. The batteries in the back of the light, I just heard it go something pop, pop, pop. And so I just turned it off. So I'm sitting in the dark now. But I'm going to bounce out, fellas. It's been cool, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks
for coming.
It's next week when we do our spoiler review of Iron Fist. I wonder if we'll like it.
All right,
It's
thanks
my
for
fellow-
joining us, man.
All right, Tim.
All right, cool. Well, he's a bundle of energy. He's fun to have on the show. Hope we'll have him back at some point. But let's do the part of the show now where we, kick in the LCS door, waving the 4-4. What books are coming out tomorrow? Let's talk about new books for Manana.
Iron Fist #1.
Yeah.
Wow, for real? Tomorrow?
Yeah, seriously, the new
Yeah, yeah.
series kicks off.
I'm
You know,
picking-
it's funny. I actually I pre-ordered I think it was a Delato cover,
Yes.
so I got locked in for that book way before the show came out. So
Hey, here's a little
open
thing
that.
for you guys watching. If you want any books, go to Edwin. He's got first dibs on everything.
I'm not selling anything until I open up my shop.
Any Venom book, he's got it for you. Just Venomize. Edwin's got it.
Yeah, I'm getting all those. Speaking of which, I'm getting all those Venomized. I'm going to try to get as many as I can. We don't have everything because, some subscribers, they get the variants requested, and my LCS doesn't charge extra for them, so he'll give it to them. But I think I got that Champions, the Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man. The Iron Man is really cool, where he's like kind of hovering himself in the air with his hand.
oh yeah, and he's got like spiky armor.
Yeah, I got that one and maybe one other, but that's pretty much all I'm looking forward to. But
Yeah.
some good books coming out this week, definitely.
Yeah. Heathen #2. That's a good book. I don't know if you guys read Heathen #1, but second
Heathen was
issue.
great.
Yeah, check that book out if you haven't. I'm telling you guys right now, it's a good story.
Justin, what good indie books?
Even
Reborn #5's coming out.
Yes. I can't
Yes.
wait. I was getting nervous about that book. I was like, did they cancel it? What the hell?
But
Yeah,
now it's a 6-part, so it ends with 6. So it's been super good. The art, that book, man, is beautiful to look at.
It's like the writing is awesome.
Yeah.
The writing is really, really good.
That's the Capullo one, right?
Yep.
Great Capullo's on that book. Yep.
And
Yep. And
Mark
Millar.
That's his big.
Miller. Yeah.
Yeah. Jack Yo's looking at Exo Man War #1 and then Bloodshot Reborn 0.
No way. Those books.
Yeah.
it's it's basically a relaunch, a complete reboot of XO again.
Didn't they just do it? I feel like that was like.
Well, but that series went 50-something issues.
Okay, so not just done.
But yeah, it looks like it could be really good. I'll probably pick it up just to check it out. Valiant's been doing some good stuff. A book I'm not going to pick up this week, Elektra #2. Because #1 was crap.
Yeah, I think this whole so I think tomorrow, as far as the books are concerned, there's only like 5 I'm picking up. No, I mean I have no problem with the light week. I'm happy with that. I like that. That works. But I have to say for the books that are coming out that I'm picking up, I'm actually excited for them. So and that would be Reborn, also Heathen, Curse Words #3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a fun book. And then
there's a couple Image #1s this week, everybody.
It's something.
Yeah.
Underwinter, Underwriter,
Underwinter and Magdalena.
Underwiener.
Yeah, Magdalena. Is that I guess restarting of the wasn't that a Liefeld character, Magdalena?
It was
At some point, I swear it was one of those like I know there was Evangeline, I know there's Glory.
no.
Magdalena was in there somewhere.
It was Top Cow, and that's who it's coming out from again.
Yeah, Top Cow. Yeah.
So it's a relaunch of that character with Top Cow.
Yeah. That Underwriter. What is it? Underwinter.
Underwinter.
Yeah, it's got a Jeff Lemire cover for it, so that might be a good combo.
Hey, I don't know about any new books that are coming out tomorrow, but I got my eye on Iron Man 55 and a Fantastic Four 45, and I can't believe the Inhumans #1, the original book, is selling for still over $100. I got 2 copies of that. One guy was asking $135.
Whoa, wait, what book was that?
The Inhumans, the first book.
Uh-huh.
The original Inhumans, not that crappy shit that's out there.
Oh, okay.
The Bronze Age one, is it?
Bronze Age.
Yeah.
One guy was asking $135. Another.
Wow.
It's still over for $100.
Paid like $9 for that book.
But you guys might see me pulling out a Iron Man 55 and a Fantastic Four 45. Besides, if anybody knows, anybody who's got a Marvel feature #1, that's the Defenders one, I need that book. So
I have two.
Wait, what's the first? I was just going to ask you guys, what's the first appearance of the Defenders? Which one was it again?
Marvel feature #1.
Marvel feature #1?
Yeah.
And Marvel feature #2 is his second appearance. I have that one. I got that for cheap.
And even the the Defenders 1 book it's hard to find. A good one, a good condition one. Defenders 1, not the Marvel feature #1.
Right. And we're gonna have a new Defender series coming out soon too. Guess who's gonna be in it?
None of the originals.
Deathstroke.
Doctor Strange.
Yes, totally.
What's the third one, guys? Come on.
Darkhawk. That's where he's gonna make his return. Everybody.
Who, Darkhawk?
Yeah, man. He's coming back.
It's coming again.
Jose, you need to buy those books right now. Get on eBay.
Oh my God.
Darkhawk 1 through 32.
The Darkhawk. Come on, guys. I'm not gonna say anything about that, but you guys saw that picture I sent, right? The top 25 books that are being sold.
Yeah, which is yes.
Darkhawk 1, it was on that list.
Because
Spawn is on there too. Spawn #1 was on that list. How about that?
Which one?
Spawn #1.
Yeah,
because the movie speculation as well.
Yeah.
As well as X-Force 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
And X-Force freaking, what was it? The #2, I think.
8.
8.
8. Yeah. But X-Force #2 is gonna change hands a bunch. You know, it's probably gonna top out honestly at about $10, even after the movies are all said and done. X-Force 11 is not going to keep that value. That's been a $1 book for years.
Yeah,
Back to being a $1 book after that movie's done. You see,
but
it'll be a $5 book when the movie comes out.
The article did say
big money increase.
The article didn't say the highest value book. It said the most.
Yeah, the most traded.
But I think this was on there too, right?
Yeah, I mean that's been going strong for a while though. I mean since they announced the Netflix series and stuff, and I mean because they speculated about him having a movie, all types of stuff. So I mean a lot of people were big on Iron Fist, figuring that he was going to get some type of role.
Here's a quick question for you guys that know slab books good. Werewolf by Night 32.
Yeah.
It was
that's out of reach for me.
This was slabbed at I think a 4.0 or 5.0. How much you guys think that book is worth? Slabbed.
600.
Yeah, it's an expensive.
600.
I think it was a 5.0. This guy was asking for 100 for it. So some people.
$100.
Yeah. So some people. Yeah, for some people, even a raw book, 400 is a great deal. So that might be a something to think about.
That's one thing that I guess is kind of a bone of contention with when you look at a book like that. So you look at Werewolf by Night 32, right? Moon Knight is a cool character, but he's when people are asking Hulk 181 and certain cases Hulk 181 prices, I think that's where things get a little bit out of control because it's like there's no way that Werewolf by Night 32 is more iconic, more valuable, and has a better character debut than Hulk 181.
But what I mean, the same could be said about Batman Adventures 12.
Well, even still, all right. So look at that too. It's like that book, Werewolf by Night 32, has higher prices than some of Silver Age Spider-Man books.
That's ridiculous.
Same thing with some of the Fantastic. I mean, like there's. I mean, you can look it up and see, but I mean, there's definitely first appearances of villains that are in Amazing Spider-Man that aren't as expensive as Werewolf by Night.
If you think about it, even without a movie announcement, if you have the opportunity to come across that book,
which one?
That's at retail. Werewolf by Night. That's at retail. Now, obviously, if it's only worth 600 and somebody's asking like 900, I'd pass. But at retail, I would buy it because it's something I would buy and sit on because once they do a TV or movie announcement, it's going to go up. I mean, they haven't done nothing with that character, and it's already as high as it is. That doesn't make any sense.
By itself, yeah, exactly. It's like organically risen over, a couple decades on its own. Yeah. So imagine if there's an announcement.
So
The only thing I'm curious, does print run factor into that? Like, is that a low print run book or anything weird with the print run at all with that?
wait, Werewolf by Night?
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
think
sure it's got to be. I mean,
I don't think it was anything low print about it. It was.
I don't think it was. It wasn't released as like a limited book or anything. Like it had a normal print run, but I'm sure there are way less of those books still around.
Especially
Hulk
at
181, right? Like think about how many Hulk 181s have been graded versus how many Werewolf by Night 32s have been graded. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
that's
no,
where you get your price. I think.
I was always just curious about that because I know that Silver Surfer #4, you know, historically low print run. You know, that's why you pay extra money for that book if you want it. But I was always curious, like if it was something like so. Jackie says it had a smaller print run than you know, other Marvel titles. But I mean, not to say that it was a small print run specifically, just, you know, so it didn't have the same print run as, like, you know, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Avengers at that time. You know, but even so, I was just curious, like, you know, I mean, good for it that it organically rose, you know, to where it's at. I just think that it's kind of I think it's definitely an example of an overvalued book.
Talking about books that were just had the, what was it, like in the 100,000s, was X-Men 1, Jim Lee. The only reason why I'm bringing this up was if you guys haven't watched Image, what was the name of the movie? Image Revolutionized or something.
With the Founders.
Yeah,
that's a great movie. You guys got to watch it. I just saw it for the first time recently.
very good.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
I was just happy out of that like top 25 list of books or whatever. I was just happy that I had a couple.
Yeah. I was so happy.
I'm missing 5 of them.
I own 11 and I'm missing 15. I mean, I'm missing 14. So I was like, 11, yeah.
And one of the ones I'm missing, obviously, is Werewolf by Night. Was it on that? It was on the list, right?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Obviously, I'm missing that one, but freaking, man, 181, man. I need that bad boy.
You know,
I got 180 and 182.
There you go. But out of those 25, I'm missing 5.
I get the True Believers one.
Yeah,
me too.
That counts, right? That counts.
Hey, it's the
kind of. Yeah.
But I do have 377 third print.
Oh yeah,
That you guys know which one.
it's a good book to have. Yeah, it's a good
Do you
book
have
to
that list handy? There's people in the chat.
I'm
asking
gonna
what
try to find it.
Okay.
It's in my Facebook.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
It's just a picture. It's not like an
Yeah.
extra.
Well, yeah, I had like a gridded panel of all the different cover art on it.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't remember seeing Werewolf by. I'm sure it was on there, but I don't
See, I agree with Jesse. I don't think it was on there.
see, I looked at it quickly and I just counted the books that I had and then the other ones I
Let me
did.
bring it up.
Like I know that
ignore the other.
I know that was it Nightwing is on there, the first Deathstroke is on there,
Nighthawk.
Batman Adventure 12 is on there.
Yeah, 44 was on there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it up for you guys. Let me share the screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is any of the Silver Surfer Fantastic Fours on there? That's
No,
the
it
question.
wasn't on there.
I think that some of those didn't make it.
I just put the link in the chat.
Here you go, guys. I don't mean to cut you off, Justin, but here's the thing.
Way to go.
Way to go.
Like I'm just looking at. All right, so check this, right? So you have New Mutants, you have Amazing Spider-Man 300, NYX, New Mutants 87, Amazing Spider-Man 361, Secret Wars. So you have all these different books.
I got a lot of those books.
Omega
Omega
Man.
Man.
You have all of them, Edwin?
I said I have a lot of them.
Oh, because I'm missing 5, man. I need to
So
get
you look at all those, right?
Yeah,
But there's no Fantastic Four 48 through 50. The so Surfer and Galactus. There's
Well,
no
that's just
no
the top
Inhuman.
traded. So no, there's not a lot of activity on that book right now.
No,
It's not hot. So these books are just hot, you know.
yeah,
That's crazy because 181 and 129 are that hot that they're that much. They're traded that much. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, but look at it. You
always
also
gotta
got
sell them.
you also have NYX 3. You got Miss Marvel because Carol Danvers. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
so a lot of it's just like what's exciting right now. Like we don't know the full time frame of when this was taken from either. Really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Star
Well,
Wars.
Why is Apocalypse still in there? That don't make
It
no
was
sense.
saying as of St. Patrick's Day, and I
Right,
think
but we don't know when it started.
Yeah, no, I take it into consideration. Like, I get all that. I just look at it where it's just, I mean, even still, though, I mean, some of these, are just overvalued for the fact that, they're just there. Like Doc Hawk. I mean, if they do this list in another 2 weeks, Doc Hawk will be gone.
Right.
It was funny because Tebow was saying earlier, he was like, I can't move that X Factor 6. Well, it's one of the top traded books in the last, however. So I mean, I don't know how anybody doesn't, I don't know how it's still up there at this point. I mean, maybe it's going for small money at this point.
No, on the contrary, they are still asking top dollar. I mean, it's top dollar is relative to some of us, but I mean, $60-$70 for that book.
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I just I mean, Apocalypse, as much as that's something that I've talked to other people about, and it's just like some some characters and some villain characters aren't really all that big time. I mean, I know that when Apocalypse has a story, he is he's a big time villain, but then again, you look at him, not that big of a character over the entire history of his character's lifetime. Same thing with
he kind of is. I mean, he's been a big.
Well, but he disappears so frequently. He's not,
Yeah.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Thanos. I mean, when he's given a story, it's a huge story. But Apocalypse has been a part of some minor stuff too. Another guy who you can put on that list is Sabretooth. Sabretooth has kind of faded in and out so many times, and he's been a part of really insignificant, stupid stuff, and then he's been a part of some big things too. It's just you look at it, it's just I don't know. I mean, it's funny to see him and people if you really look at him, he's probably a B, C character. And it's just normally if you went back to the early 80s and 70s and maybe even a little bit into the 90s, you're like, no way, not him. But yeah, at this point in time, he's not that big of a deal.
Well, what's
He's
his
in the Uncanny X-Men right now.
His first appearance is Iron Fist 14.
Didn't he have a kid like a Apocalypse Jr.?
There was Kid Apocalypse.
Apocalypse is in was it Extraordinary? He was in one of the newer books.
It's like Marvel or Avengers Academy or Avengers something like that.
Yeah, he was in the Apocalypse War thing too. But
he was great on the X-Men. Well, not great, but he was an ongoing villain on the X-Men cartoon.
Right.
Yeah.
And the book, he's a good villain. It's just after he fights and loses, he has to go regenerate or whatever for 10 years.
Yeah.
So you forget about him.
Sounds like Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's what he is.
It's just funny, he just. It's funny to see some of these things. It's just looking at that again. I wouldn't have thought that most traded. I guess I'm looking at it the wrong way. Most traded does not mean most valuable.
Right.
Let's put that out.
Just Dark Horse.
Most amount of movement. That's it.
Spawn number 1. And the X factors that they show.
Well, I can see. I mean, if you're going by most, I can see Spawn number 1 just because people like to have that number 1. It's a cool looking book, and you can get it for cheap. So I can see
that, and because Todd's gonna pull out another Spawn movie out, so people are interested.
He said he has a screenplay ready and ready to go. It's just getting a studio to back it and put it out. So we'll see what happens.
I want that movie to be good, but from what I heard about it, it's not what I want from a Spawn movie. It's just straight up horror movie and not really Spawn-y type of movie.
I want it to be good.
It's more like a Sam and Twitch movie.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane has great, I don't know, he has his own vision of what he wants to do, but I remember when he got this current artist that's been working on Spawn, he's like, oh yeah, he's a great artist, he's perfect, he's what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. And of course, once you start working on the title, sales just went down.
Well, because everybody wants Todd to do the book again, or Capullo book again. And it's just
Capullo was good on the title.
Oh, he was great. I mean, it's just, he brought a whole different element to Spawn. And it's just people don't really want a new guy working on it because it's all right, the new look doesn't really fit this character all that well. And, maybe we don't, we won't embrace it. And the problem is just that, Tom McFarlane's not making books anymore. He's not going to go ahead and draw full issues just because, he doesn't need to. He's past that point. Same thing with Jim Lee. People are like, oh, I want to see Jim Lee do a whole book. Well, you'll see him.
It'll never happen.
They make too much money. Even J. Scott Campbell, everybody asks him all the time, are you ever going to do sequentials? And he's like, nope.
No, why would I?
Pick where the cover is.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a cover page every.
I wouldn't either.
Exactly. Just like, I'm gonna do this big splash page every. Like, look, I get paid more to do one page than probably I ever got paid to do full.
Yep.
So no.
Look at Rob Liefeld. He's easily making probably 10 grand a weekend. You know, just signing stuff, doing drawings at a
Oh
con.
yeah. Did I tell you guys last time I saw him? He literally had a suitcase that he was just like at the table. He was just like scooping it off the table and like dumping it into the suitcase that was on the floor next to him. That's how much money he was pulling.
For who? Liefeld or
Yeah, Liefeld. Yeah.
man?
That's
He
crazy.
fucked over Image, man.
Well, I mean, Liefeld, you know, he gets cast as the bad guy all the time. It's just, you know, because you look at it and it's just he was the
He
guy
was
that
stealing
got
money.
himself in.
Image.
Yeah, well, he weaseled. I mean, he got himself in there. He did what he did, and I know you know people like to give him shit about everything. I mean, say what you want, he's still one of the top artists from like the '90s. But I mean, in terms of actual skill, like he wasn't as skilled as everybody else that was on that. That went over there and did that. It's kind of like if you look at any of the Chicago Bulls teams that won in the '90s, you know what I mean? Like there's always some bum on there that's just like, dude, all right, so you got a ring, but what did you really do? Like, you told Jordan he had a good shot. You clapped from the bench. You waved the towel a little bit, and when you got in the game, you didn't even want to play just because you're so comfortable sitting here. There's always a Brian Scalabrine. That's the way I look at it. Brian Scalabrine. I will say this, and this is my only sports thing I'll get into, but Brian Scalabrine is the most intelligent basketball player that's ever lived, and I'll tell you why. He had a DVD out that said Brian Scalabrine teaches the fundamentals, this and that, and everything. That DVD should have been literally 2.5 seconds. It should have been like, all right, guys, here's the one thing you need to understand, the one thing that you need to do to be as successful as I have been in the NBA. Just make the team. Thank you for watching. It's been a great video. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, just make the team. That's it. And that's all he did. And he parlayed that into a $15 million contract with the Celtics. So there's always he really is that guy that just made the team. He came out with his books. He did his work. I'm not going to say he didn't try, but I am going to say that, he gets credit for making Deadpool, and he's lucky that he's such a great and iconic character. But,
Jack Jones said the best. He goes, at least he's working 2 days a week. When he drew comics, he worked 1 day a week. And he also paid all his staff the most money.
Yeah, he was buying them cars and stuff too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he took care of his staff, but when the comic book industry went down the drain, he couldn't pay them that salary.
Yeah. That's when him and Jim Lee went back to Marvel and made they got a $2 million contract to do like
Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and everybody else was pissed at them for doing that.
But yeah, because
man, you got to make money. Y'all know how many kids Jim Lee has?
He has 20. 20.
He's got 9. He was at a panel, and he's got 9 kids.
And they're all.
Why do you need a full baseball team?
So but what I'm saying is, here's how you look at this. The guy has 9 kids, even if they're over 18 or as they grow older, he's still going to have to do daddy duty, and he's still going to have to buy them things and get them things and help them with things. So I look at it like Jim Lee's going to always be working for a while. So even though he might not do an ongoing series, he's still going to be doing cons and signings and sketches and covers and stuff like that.
He's Stan Lee's villain now, isn't he?
Jim Lee was always the smart businessman out of all of them. Well, besides Todd McFarlane, because he made him do all this to begin with. And I mean, Todd with his toys and everything, he's crazy business savvy. But Jim Lee was very business savvy.
Yeah,
it's true. But yeah, you're like, hey, I want to break off of this corporate and start my own studio. And then you do that, and it's like, well, shit, what do I do now? And it was only
build it back.
And like how do you sell it? How do you market it? How do you pay people?
DC is like, hey, you guys want to buy this thing from me? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, we like what you do as an artist. Like, do some more art for us. And then eventually he parlayed that into being, one of the executives in DC. And he's just like, dude, I can draw something when I feel like it. And if I don't feel like it, I just do this corporate. Like, I really do feel like he just draws shit when he gets bored. He's like, yeah, these meetings and stuff are really boring. I'm going to just draw something for a while. Just leave me alone.
Jim Lee's the man, though, man.
But that was the thing with the new Suicide Squad is it was like billed that he was going to be doing the book. He was going to be doing the book. And then you'd get like a couple pages.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Yep.
he said that, and then I think for a while, I think the most surprising thing that he had done that I had seen was the covers for the first, I think, like few issues of Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. I was like, oh, wow, the Jim Lee cover, that's pretty cool. And, it was a step outside of his normal, I guess, comfort zone. And then, but he didn't do any interior work. He just did those covers and then just kind of moved on to something else. And it's just, he himself, he's a name now. It's just like, if you hear that, Jim Lee's doing a cover, people will buy it. If you hear that Jim Lee is going to do, he's going to do the interiors. All the big Jim Lee fans are going to go out and buy it because it's like, oh, it's a Jim Lee book. I got to have this.
Talking about Jim Lee and covers, man, Marvel got slick. They found a bunch of his old work in their
right.
database, and now they
remastered
X-Men Blue and Gold now. It's all
I remember that. I remember that actual cover. Like I remember that. I remember that image that he did. I think that's. I want to say that's in X-Men #1. It's like Visions of the Past, and then it's like and then there's that other one with the villains. It's basically like a big splash page with all the different villains. From Sabretooth all the way up to like Master Mold and stuff.
But I gotta be honest, after watching that movie about what happened with Image, how they got started, blah blah blah, all that, I want to start freaking buying the books, man. Like, what was it?
What? You go, sweetie.
Oh, sweetie.
You guys heard that?
Oh. I don't know where she's going, but she got to go. You go, sweetie.
He's like, get out of here, go.
Yes, run for Congress. You go, sweetie. You run for Congress.
What was the book what was the first book slab that you bought, Justin? It was
Stormwatch.
Yeah, I want to start buying that. I want to buy the other one.
Oh, that's easy. Just go to your dollar bins, dude.
Yeah, but after watching
series,
the show,
like $55.
Yeah. By the way, Edwin. Yes, honey.
I heard that, huh? Y'all caught me slipping, huh?
It's
cool. It's cool.
You got a wife. It's all good, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane, though. Like, man, it's just
Comically Flawed says, "Don't start buying Image #1s. That's Justin's territory."
honestly, one of the dollar bins in my local. I shouldn't say one of the dollar bins. One of my local shops just has like just a bunch of those books just chilling. I mean, there's a bunch of Wildcats. There's a bunch of Brigade. All that stuff just chilling, just in that dollar bin, and like. I'm just like, I'm not paying $1 for this because I already know what's going on with this stuff.
But you gotta at least have it for a quote unquote collection because there's a story behind it.
I'm all set.
It's the #1s.
No,
I bought all those back just for nostalgia. Like I didn't have any. Like I remember this book. I want to read it.
That's the reason why I bought Spawn 1. I mean, it's not really worth anything.
You gotta figure it like this.
My collection.
If you have all, like you said, Jose, what do you have? 60 long boxes. If you have a move out of this, you gotta haul and lug all those again. And know how pissed off I'm gonna be? Like, this is a whole long box full of Brigade, motherfucker.
Yeah.
No. That's my whole thought process on it.
All these boxes are empty. There's nothing in them. There's like 1 or 2 boxes.
Chris,
That's a lie.
the thing with those first Image books, though, like not counting Spawn or Savage Dragon, but you could fit like all those series in one long box.
Exactly.
I just think about that. It's like, oh no.
But we can't deny those covers look so damn cheesy.
No, some of them
When they came out, those books were amazing.
When I was an early teen, I was like, holy shit, that's so badass. I gotta
Those
get
were
that.
the best looking.
And you know what was funny? It's because the covers that you were getting with Marvel and DC at the time were like, because they had lost such fire, especially Marvels, they lost so much firepower on their covers. It was just like, their covers was just kind of like, it would be like, a guy like kind of like going like this. And then you go to like, Image is just a guy going like this, like, holy shit, what's going on in this thing?
Hey,
and
Chris, can you do that first pose again? There you go.
That'll be next week's promo image.
Kind of chilling, but that it's just like, there's just these really weak, sad looking covers. And then it was just like, every cover that came out for Image was expressive at some point, except for Brigade. Brigade kind of had some really just, but I mean,
they were always in a crossover. They were married.
But I mean, and that was the thing. Like they just had the star power, and you couldn't mess with it at that point.
Yeah.
So from the movie, I remember they said something to the effect that X-Men #1, that Jim Lee put out was what 100,000 books sold.
No, over 1 million. That's
that was over
the
a
number
million.
one
Yeah.
That
selling
was in
book
the
of all time.
millions.
1.8
Yeah, that was in the
million.
millions.
The
1.8
number
million.
one, that was the number one because it wasn't there like one or two other ones.
No,
Oh,
that's
There
it.
was 5 variants.
It had
Yeah.
5 variants.
Yeah, the book had
No,
5 or
no,
6
no.
covers.
One or two other covers because I think Spawn 1 was out there up there as well.
Well,
No,
Spawn-
Spider-Man is up there, the one that Todd McFarlane did.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because they had
Spider-Man
all
one.
kinds of covers.
The
You had
Arachne.
the regular, the silver, the platinum,
But
the
it was when
Black,
he was
glow in the
at,
dark.
but it was when he was at Image.
Scratch and sniff.
Had to have been Spawn when they referred to Todd's, and then they believe it or not, then they referred to one of to Liefeld's thing. So it must have been like Stormwatch or something. I mean, these books,
Youngblood.
Youngblood. I mean,
Yeah,
these books,
that was-
what they did was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, well,
You can tell I just saw the movie recently, right?
because you know, like they knew what they had with Jim Lee. Like there was no denying that. Like, you know, what that cover, I mean, was incredible. And then the fact that it was like, you know, they made it a connecting cover. Then they had the trifold cover, and then it was like you had the trifold cover in one color, and then, you know, and then you had another one in this like reddish color. And it was just like, you know, they knew exactly what they were doing. And I remember those. I remember those were all, unless you bought them on the day they came out, you know, for like years, those were $5 covers a piece. So if you wanted to have all of them, you were spending $30 for that whole shit. It was
Oh yeah.
But
And back then you couldn't just go on eBay and just pick
No,
up a set. You had to like, you know, get to your shop, and if you didn't get there, you're fucked. You had to like drive to the next shop, and then
Yep.
the next town to the next shop, and then like, you know, it was
All right, so
well,
Yeah.
the thing you got to remember though, like say that X-Men #1 was back then. Marvel had a deal with Walmart and big box stores like that, so they were selling those in sets. So that right there is, you know, 500,000 copies of the book or something like that were sold. You know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, it was great. Also, okay, so out of the whole creative team, man, who do you think was the best artist? You got Silvestri,
Sylvester.
Marlin,
Silvestri, Wills Potaccio,
Larson,
Potaccio.
Eric Larson.
Larson, you know.
I wouldn't say Eric Larson is the best. I think Silvestri and maybe Lee were the best. No, but you see, but Potaccio is good too. But I
Yeah.
think out of the
What was his book? Wetworks.
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 Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
about
they all had
vampires.
something different. That was what made it kind of cool. It's just like you could appreciate a different, you know, you could appreciate all their styles, you know, just based on how, like, you know, one guy did, you know, females better than the other ones. One guy did,
that
you
was
know,
Michael Turner when he was there.
but it was like, you
And
know,
it
one
was
guy did-
Liefeld when he came back. He went over to that studio. I forget whose studio, and tried to steal Turner away from that studio to say, "Hey, come over."
He went
Top Cow.
he went to Top Cow. He went
Yeah.
to Top Cow, and
He
so
tried to steal
that's-
these people.
I was like,
Oh, when he started Awesome Entertainment or whatever.
Extreme.
Yeah, it was extreme.
Extreme Studios.
He started that, and he was using money from Image to
Mhm.
fund Extreme, and then he went over to Top Cow and said, "Hey, Mr. Turner and these other people, come over to Extreme and work over here. We're cool."
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
Joe Benitez started there at Top Cow.
Joe Benitez started at Top Cow.
Yeah,
Oh,
Weapon
Joe.
Zero.
Yeah, I like
I mean, had he been able to get Michael Turner, I mean, could you imagine that? It's just like, all right, so now Evangeline's going to be drawn by Michael Turner. I mean, it's just like Michael
That would
Turner.
have been awesome.
I still say to this day, like, I mean, J. Scott, you know, does good stuff, but like, if not for, you know, I think the best J. Scott still can't hold up to the best Michael Turner art as far as drawing females are concerned. I think that he really had it on lock.
Let's be real. As much as I love Campbell, I'm not knocking him at all. I love his work. Every cover he did for Amazing Spider-Man, I think I own. But it's still the same kind of feel. It's always the same kind of face, you know.
Yeah.
Where I think correct me if I'm wrong. With Michael Turner, had more of a variety.
Yeah.
Like
Correct.
he couldn't do a Batwoman or like a Latino woman. It was always like the same body style and everything, right?
Yeah,
Who Turner or
With Campbell.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing with Campbell,
his
he
work.
can't draw guys. You know what I mean? Like he
They
draws
look strange.
great, exactly. But with Turner, he could draw like, you know, he'll do the Hulk. You know, he did you know, Wolverine. I think he did.
Yeah.
You know, he can draw anything pretty much and have it look good. But with Campbell, And I love Camel, don't get me wrong, but it's
Yeah, I
just
love
a
it.
woman. And right now with the store exclusives, it's all just basically like a spotlight on the character and like no background or minimal background, and they're all just like in a pose, you
Yep.
know. So
Which he knows what he's doing. I mean, it's just like, I'm just gonna sell this book off as just this. I'll just
yeah,
put
there
this
you
on
go.
it. And then
That's
like
a great run right there.
they have that
What? Yes.
What?
Batman, Superman.
Batman,
Is that
Superman.
right?
Those are great.
Okay.
Show that baby off, man. You got to show those books up.
And Identity Crisis, that was good. He did it with his friend Brett Meltzer.
Yep.
But
Brad Meltzer. That's crazy that you mentioned him. He's that guy who had that little TV show going on.
yeah, the
And
conspiracy.
it turns out
one?
he made comic books too. I didn't realize that until I bought his JLA or Justice that he Ed Beans or Ed Benez did the artwork for.
Yeah. He's written some novels too, like kind of around the conspiracy thing, and that's how the show came about. But he's a pretty good writer.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, guys. I actually have to start bouncing off here just because
Yeah.
I gotta be to work I wake up at 4 a.m. to go to work. So
All right, so let's go real quick through some final shout outs here and close it out at the same time. You want to go first, Chris?
yeah, I want to thank everybody who came into the chat. I want to thank Lord of the Longbox TiVo for coming on. Without everybody in the chat, the show just doesn't keep going. So thank you to you guys for keeping us going, giving us great comments, questions, and entertaining us while we entertain you. So thank you guys for that. And everybody have a great week picking up the books that you want to get, and just have a good one.
There we go. All right. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. Glad to have you. Give me that. You got to go. Work at 4 a.m. though, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I wake up at 4 a.m. and then my shift starts early, so it's just kind of I just wake up and get going at that point, and then after that it's just like So I'm sorry to be the potty pooper. Just
No, you're good, man.
Cool. We're getting this is probably our longest running show so far.
Yeah. We went into
Life
overtime.
before comics.
Exactly. All right, Justin, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, sorry for cutting in and out a couple times with losing power and stuff, but glad I was able to jump on and stay on here at the end. Yeah, definitely thanks to our guests for jumping on. Thanks for everybody in the comments. That's awesome. Yeah, let's go buy some books tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Let me give you that old round of applause. Edwin.
Yeah, I want to shout out to everybody in the chat. Amazing Murfinator, come on late, but thanks for joining us. Dave Enrique Comics, Comically Flawed, Mr. Unknown Comics Guy. Shout out to Tim TiVo over there at Lords of the Long Box. That was pretty awesome for him to come on. I know he's very enthusiastic and very hyped to talk about stuff, especially Iron Fist. But shout out to Jason Smith. I see comics and stuff. So shout out to everybody on the panel. and I agree with Justin. Let's go for broke tomorrow buying books.
That's right.
That's it. I'm out.
All right, cool. Shout out to you and to Sweetie.
Maybe I'll have Sweetie come on one day.
That's right. First appearance on the show, please.
Well, I want to say thank you for all the guys, for everybody in the chat room, because I made about 4 sales tonight while talking. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say pretty sweet.
I probably have one, but Edwin, I have already spoken to Edwin about the 300 ASM 300, so he's gonna get dibs. But yeah, it was a cool show, man. And I'm glad you guys are still rocking and rolling every Tuesday at 8:30.
That's right.
Rock and roll Eastern.
East Coast. All right, guys, great show. We had a lot of fun tonight. Tim stopping by was pretty awesome. We got to talk about Iron Fist. We got to talk about Venom and all kinds of cool books. Got into some 90s stuff with the Liefeldian covers, and it was pretty fun. So looking forward to doing it again next week with everybody. Hope everybody in the chat can stop by again next Tuesday, same time, same place, and we'll do this again with some new topics. That's it for this episode 27, Comic Conversation. Have a good night.
Au revoir.
Thanks, everybody.
Press the
Bye,
right
everybody.
button this time.